What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Powerful Fitness Podcast, episode number 19. Today, we got on an awesome guest. His name's Will Perry. So, Will Perry is ex-military. He was in the Navy, former high school wrestler and entrepreneur. So, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of talk about where you're from, where you grew up, stuff like that.
Sure. So, first things first, I come bearing gifts.
Sweet. Awesome.
So, I'm going to let you open
the first
up.
ever to bring me a gift.
So, you can open that up.
Okay, let's check it out. Oh, okay. You know what's... Oh, my God. You got to be kidding me. Look at this. Hold on. I got to get it close up on the camera so they can see this.
So, that is a...
That's awesome.
Yep. So, that's a genuine U.S. military 50 cal sized ammo can with a custom laser engraved Willie Henderson III on there.
Wow,
so
dude, that's so sick, dude. I've always wanted one of these.
Yep. So that's actually one of the businesses that we do. I have a warehouse down in Scott City, Missouri. We supply ammo cans, bandoliers, stripper clips. High-end military surplus is the name of the game.
I don't even know how to open this thing.
Just yank it, man.
Just yank it.
It's designed for soldiers.
Just actually use some strength behind it.
There you go. Yep.
Wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, so you can put your ammunition in there. I saw the concealed carry weapons are welcomed here, so I really liked that when I first came in, but yeah.
So what about, why are they made out of tin?
So they're made out of metal because if you think about it, most of your military members are rough on everything. So they have to be made to endure
Makes sense.
multiple different conditions. I mean, there's a story about a couple sailors that were doing a live fire mission along like a river somewhere, I want to say out in Virginia. And, they're firing their guns and stuff, and they didn't want to go back and recount the ammunition because if you don't fire everything, then you have to bring it back to the base and then recount every single round because every round is you're responsible for every round. So they were like, well, we're just going to throw it off the boat and call it a day, and we don't have to count rounds whenever we get back. Well, there was a drought, and someone was going by on their boat, saw a bunch of ammo cans, opened up, and lo and behold, there's full dry ammunition in there. They'd go back, turn them up. There's actually like NALC numbers, or not NALC numbers, but identifier numbers on the sides of these cans. And so they just went back into the records, looked, saw who it was, who checked it out, and all those guys got in some serious trouble.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. All because they didn't want to count it?
All because they didn't want to count it. So the military is all about accountability.
Right.
And if you're doing what's right and what's required of you, I mean, you'll be fine. A lot of people like try to skim the system or game the system, but at the end of the day, if you just do what's
just being lazy, just literally being lazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's not everyone. But it's just in the military is just like every walk of life. You have people from all over the country, all different cultures. I mean, we had guys from Puerto Rico to Alaska. I mean, that I served with. So you just get a real cultural experience of what America is,
Wow.
outside of your own, like where I'm from in Southeast Missouri. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty great experience.
Oh yeah, let's get into that. So where are you from?
Oh, yep. So I was born and raised in Cape County, right outside of Cape Girardeau. Grew up, had a wonderful family growing up. I can't say enough about them. My dad, he was a physician in town. My mom, she was a nurse. Grandfather and my grandmother grew up right across the field from me. They're originally from Baltimore. So my family's not originally from here. My sister, Christina, she was born in Cairo, Illinois, believe it or not.
Yeah, Cairo.
Yeah.
I know Cairo very well. My grandmother used to live there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Back when it flooded, what was this like? this was some years back, but remember when it flooded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they
she was living there then.
Oh, my gosh. Where's she living at now?
Now she lives in Tams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still in Illinois. Got to bring her over that river, man. Bring her over to the other side. But so my dad, he grew up, I guess how they got here, it's kind of a story of my dad grew up extremely poor. He grew up, I can't say enough. I mean, it's a part of, I guess, my story. But he grew up pretty much in the drudges of society. His dad was very smart, but he was also abusive. He had the world stacked against him in terms of, I guess, everything that could be. Dad left when he was 5, beat his mom, did a lot of stuff that was, I don't know if
Your father's father?
my father's father, my
Okay.
grandfather. I never met the man, my grandfather, on my dad's side. But, my dad, he always says that the trailer park was his greatest motivation in life. And he knew that he could get out of that if he could find some people that could help him, guide him out. And it actually was the guy who owned the trailer park. He's like, he bugged him for a job and bugged him for a job. And he's like, well, if I get close enough to this guy, maybe he'll teach me something.
Right, because he don't live there. He just owns the place.
Exactly,
Right.
And he got with that guy, and his name was Dick Swift, and he was, he was out working with him, and he said, what do you want to do with your life? He's like, well, I want to get out of this trailer park. He goes, well, the best way you can do it is by carrying a briefcase, and you carry a briefcase by going to college. And so he went to college and decided basically when he was in college that he was going to be a doctor, and everything was just streamlined from that point forward. And he said the most redeeming moment whenever he was going through that part in his life was he went back home, and the principal of his high school, who didn't think he was going to be anything, or just kind of one of those nefarious kids growing up, he said that he was getting a cheeseburger and he was digging a ditch for Dick, who owned an excavating company too. And so the principal was there, and he was, getting a sandwich at the food truck or whatever. And the principal was like, "Oh, Mr. Perry, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Well, I'm digging ditches." And he's like, "Oh, really?" And kind of like, pompous and all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but that ended up and whenever he said that, my dad goes, he's like, "Well, what else are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm in my final year of medical school. I'm going to be a doctor." And he said he just dropped his sandwich in his jaw, just like walked, just couldn't believe it, like this guy of all people.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, growing up with that type of, and my dad, he always taught us to like respect everyone. Like, if you go into the hospital, his best friend is the janitor. I mean,
Right.
and that's just kind of how all of us kids, I have a brother and 2 sisters, and it's just a great household. And my other grandfather, he was a successful builder. So I grew up building houses, probably since the age of 12.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. That's what Gavlin and I can always talk about, building houses.
Right.
And
Oh
stuff.
my God, Gavin. Yeah, he'll call me and I'll hear tools going in the background. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm putting up this wall right now while on the phone with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this dude. Yeah, Gavin, he's a worker, all right.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that, I know we were kind of talking about where I was from, but that's that wrestling background. I mean, wrestling teaches you so much stuff. And I know I'm kind of jumping from topic to topic, but wrestling is just a sport that it makes boys into men.
Right.
I don't know why.
It's gritty.
It is.
Dude, so my son, I got him wrestling in Jackson, and
Yep.
like I love just going and sitting and watching their classes and just watching them go through that. And it's so funny how you can watch a boy like who's just not that. It just really teaches you how to be physical,
Yep.
which that's something I just learned. I never was a physical person growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wrestling it's gritty, dude. It's such a grind.
It really is. And that's, I mean, and especially in today's like world, it's like, they're like, oh, don't be passive, be nice, be, like all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's a time and a place for that. Obviously there's discernment that we have to have in life, but when it comes to being a monster, that's the place to do it. And I always thought wrestling, martial arts, taekwondo, kickboxing, it does teach you to be a monster, but it teaches you to control it.
Right.
And having that element of being able to inflict violence whenever needed is such an important factor. And, I always felt that wrestling helped men learn how to do that. I mean, I think it was Jordan Peterson. He said, he kind of did a deep dive into the Bible. And there's a quote in there where it says, I'm going blank on it now, but he said, the Bible says, the meek shall inherit the earth. And he actually went back and like looked it up because there's a lot of old timey words that we don't use anymore. And it said, meek actually, that translated loosely into those that have swords, but know how to use them, but keep them sheathed.
Mm.
So that means that you are supposed to be dangerous and supposed to be able to do violence whenever needed, but you're also supposed to be able to sheathe that until necessary.
Right.
So it's pretty, but yeah. So I know you've got a big fight coming up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Like 11 days. Yeah, 11 days. I'm fighting in Jackson, Tennessee,
Okay.
and it's gonna be my first time being the main event. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. I don't usually like sitting around and waiting.
Yeah.
When I get there, I'm ready to bang. So,
Okay.
but I'm also very good at I can show up to the venue, and I can let my energy and my excitement rise just a little bit. But you don't want it to rise too much because you can easily start to secrete your adrenaline and waste unnecessary energy. So I can let my energy, like my excitement, rise just a little bit, and then I just tone it back down until it's time for me to warm up and get in the cage. But yeah, it's definitely I'm definitely honored to be the main event. They reached out to me after my last fight. They seen how I pieced dude up, and I told him, I was like, thanks for the opportunity. He said, I seen your last fight. You deserve it. And I'm like, hell yeah. That's awesome.
The last fight was an MMA fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Memphis.
Yep, I remember.
That's when I won that belt.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
you beat that dude pretty good. I thought I was like, oh, they probably should have stopped that a little earlier, but I don't know.
No, he hung in there.
He did?
Yeah, he hung in there for sure.
Well, he took you down. He took you down once or twice, and you
Yeah,
defended.
the first round I kicked him in the face, and then he shot really fast. He managed to take me down, and I was going to get back up or submit him either way.
Yeah.
So when he felt me getting my guard back, he dropped back and I started kicking him away, and he knew I was going to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
So he dropped back for an ankle lock, a straight leg ankle lock, and I could tell immediately he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Or he just maybe wasn't, I don't know what he was thinking, because he started wrenching on it with all his might, but
Wasn't doing anything.
But he didn't have it. He didn't have my foot the right way. He was basically like squeezing. Like,
He's just hugging it.
So you can. So imagine taking a pole and bending it in half, right?
Yeah.
The way you're not gonna grab it right in the center and squeeze it, or
No.
you're gonna grab it at the ends. So it was kind of like he's grabbing in the wrong spot, squeezing, and it's doing nothing. And I'm like, okay, bet he's about to burn himself out, dude. It don't take much to burn yourself out.
No.
So he's squeezing hard, and I managed to get past his legs and stand up. I landed a couple strikes, then that's the end of the round.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, they could probably give him that round just because of a little bit of the control on the ground. But then round 2 and 3, I just beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I was watching that. I was like, that's awesome. I remember I watch your fights all the time. I always go to the Cage of Honor fights, and I'm always like yelling like, question kick. I'm the guy in the crowd. Question mark kick, do it. And like Caleb, his last fight, that was that felt terrible for that guy afterwards.
Yeah.
I was glad he got up, but
Gotta defend yourself.
Yeah, well,
come on, dude, put your hands up.
They broke, and then Caleb came back and then just hit him with that high kick.
One, he landed jab. He went jab, cross, head kick.
Oh my gosh!
Like all back to back, boom, 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 and dude I don't know what the.
Well, it's like when you're in the crowd, like this is something I always like tell my friends, because I always try to bring new people with me whenever we go to the fights in Cape.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no replay button. Okay, there's not Joe Rogan going to be giving you a play-by-play. You have to pay attention because it'll be.
It's not UFC with the screen and they replay it. No, you don't get that. So
you don't get that, and so there was like the last Cage of Honor fights. How many? There was like 4 or 5 knockouts. It was just like the first fight was a knockout.
Yeah, I wasn't really watching any of those. I was just waiting for Gavlin's fight, but Caleb and Gavlin's fight, but yeah.
Gavlin did good. He wrestled. That kid wanted to try to just run around and try to. I don't know, how many times did he try to hit a Kimura on Gavlin? Like
a lot, and Gavlin did a really good job defending that.
Yep. And I thought Gavlin wrestled him to death. And if that's what the guy wants to do, that's what the guy wants to do. So
yeah,
I love watching our local guys fight. That's like my favorite thing. Like watching Gavlin fight, watching you fight, watching Caleb fight. It's just I don't know. It's like hometown pride,
right?
Almost.
Exactly.
Especially when those guys from out of town come in.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, oh, they're from Illinois. Oh, come on, man. It's like
and I'm always traveling to fight, so I'm always in a crowd where they don't know me, and they're probably rooting for the other guy. But it seems like every time I go somewhere though, I can hear people cheering me on in the crowd, and I'm always like, oh, how does this person know me? It's like they don't know me. They just see my name on the little thing, and they like the way I look. They like my style.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a lot of style. I got a lot of, I'm not just like a boring type of, and I just got that energy about me. Like when I get in that cage, oh shit.
Yeah, you're intense, man.
Like, oh shit, this guy looks like he knows how to throw, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you present like, I mean, like you're intense. I mean, you're
Yeah.
probably one of those guys that you're like, okay, I need to calm down. Like not
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you were talking about, you're conserving your energy and stuff. I bet you like 3 days out from the fight, you're just like, let's go.
Yeah, I used to. I mean, not so much now because I used to be that way, and oh, dude, it would screw me, especially the day of. You really have to. So one thing, my MMA instructor, one of the first things he taught me, one of the first fights he cornered me. He told me the day before the fight, and then the day of the fight, when I woke up, he said, "Don't be running." He said, "Don't be running around. Don't be walking fast. Keep your heart rate down." And that's when I started to realize on fight day, I would even be walking faster. I would be like just super energetic. But then by the time it's time to fight, I done wasted a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So on fight day, dude, I'm just like super calm, walking slow, moving slow. I like to meditate, and I'll even take a nap at the venue if I can. And then when it's time to get warmed up, that's when I let the beast
Start getting in the zone.
Well, actually, when I show up to the venue, I like to immediately get in the cage, fill the cage out, and I know my opponent's probably there. He's gonna be watching me, so I'm gonna move around and show some stuff and show him, and he can see. Oh shit,
This is what's coming for me.
like I'm in there throwing spinning kicks and all this stuff. Even I'll be in there shooting shots. Like even if it's something I don't plan on doing in the fight, like he can sit there and watch me for 5 minutes. Know, oh, I'm fighting a well-rounded fighter. I just watched him throw, a good jab, good cross. He's head kicking, he's leg kicking, he's throwing knees. Why is this dude throwing elbows? We're not elbowing yet. I'll just be in there just demonstrating and getting comfortable in the cage. And yeah, dude, I
do
absolutely.
a little psychological warfare.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I know, like, if I seen me, I'd be terrified. Like when I watch
That's awesome.
Obviously I'm not scared of myself because I'm myself. But when I watch videos of myself, I'm like,
That's
oh
a bad
yeah,
man.
I'm like, damn, I'm a beast.
Yeah,
Like, dang.
yeah.
It's just crazy, but I absolutely love it. It's what I always wanted. So let's talk about what was it like serving in the Navy, and what made you want to join the Navy?
So I've always, ever since I was a little kid, I've always, my cousin was he was in the Marine Corps. I don't know exactly what he did. I know he was infantry. I don't know if he went force recon, but growing up, my cousin, my whole family pretty much lived with us here in Southeast Missouri, and he decided to go in the Marine Corps, and that really kind of inspired me and really made me want to delve more into what it meant to, I guess, put on the uniform. And also I loved history. I loved the history of, just American history, as well as I watched every war movie possible, and so that kind of set me up for wanting to serve. And as I got older, it felt it was like a duty to my country because America's provided so much for so many different people, not only me, but, thousands and millions of people that have come before, and everyone that's toiled and all of that stuff. So I wanted to serve. I knew I wanted to do something a little different whenever I served. And in the Navy, they had a program where you could test in to go to a special program. So if you wanted to be a SEAL, EOD, SWIC, which are the guys on the boats, or a rescue swimmer. And I watched the Coast Guard movie of, what was it, The Guardian. I don't know if you've ever seen that, with like Kevin Costner, and they're like, anyways, but that kind of was like, I was like, I want to do that. It's a medical based, coming from a family in the medical field. And
so they do more like saving people in battle, or
yes,
or civilians, or
both.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the Navy is a, we could do, so the Navy, you're trained, the Navy is like a master of some, master of none. I forgot how that saying goes, but jack of all trades, master of none. And so in that, you are trained to save civilians. So like whenever Hurricane Katrina happened, whenever Hurricane Harvey happened, those are Navy guys going out, Navy, Coast Guard, Army, everyone. We went out and saved civilians. And then also in the Navy, if a pilot gets shot down over the ocean or near water or something, because that's where we're operating mostly at, then we'll fly out, jump in the water or direct deploy down, pick up that pilot, get him out of there. The same thing is if, say, like we invaded a country, because, every country touches water. So if a pilot is shot down in country, we'll fly off the boat, go pick him up, and take him back. And
so you did a lot of helicopter rides.
I had spent a lot of time in the back of a helicopter.
More in the helicopter and less on boats, or?
So I'm actually the worst sailor. I don't mean this like I spent 7 days on a ship. Like that was it. And that was mostly due to the fact that whenever I went to my unit, I guess you could say I got selected to go. The Navy had 2 special operation helicopter squadrons, and I got to go to the one on the East Coast.
Sounds to me like you're above sailors.
Well, I was more or less in the Army. So I had a Navy uniform. I had my hair long. I looked, like that's the thing about the Navy. We had the loosest regulations when it comes to hair. So we can have our hair 4 inches long in the Navy and other branches.
That's it?
That's it. But 4 inches. It's about like what I have now. But in the Navy or the military, you're used to seeing guys, like Marines especially. It's like crew cuts and they're, But and so I got to go to that unit, and a lot of the guys that were there were just, they've been in the Navy for a long time. They've been in for 10 years, 8 years, and I've been, fresh out of, my pipeline for the most part. And getting to experience, that way of thinking, which is kind of almost counterintuitive to the normalized way of thinking in the military, because whenever you're training for special operation missions, you have to think outside the box. And a lot of the stuff that, we were doing was not atypical of what was being done by other Navy helicopter platforms. So, you're basically a door gunner for the most part. We trained for direct action missions, which was in support of special operation forces all over the world. So Navy SEALs, Green Berets, just anyone and everyone. And so we trained to that standard to support those guys. So like boats drops, like there's actually one of our sister squadrons. It's called, I think it's Act of Valor. One of our helicopters is in that. Like it was an honor to serve with that group of individuals because it was just an amazing experience all the way around. I did 6 years in the Navy, got out. I was a rescue swimmer. I never saved a single person when I was in the Navy. Like the Navy spent millions and millions of dollars training me to be a rescue swimmer.
Well, how is that?
It was just a unit.
Nobody needed rescue.
No one needed rescuing. I was like, I guess my job is done here. That's a good thing. But that's another part of the Navy. The Coast Guard really gets a lot of the rescues. So they control most of the coastal space. So, and we go through the same training. They'll probably say it's not, but they used to go to our school in Pensacola, rescue swimmer school, and but they have their own school now. So they mostly get all of the rescues that are along the coastline and things like that. The Navy has some stationed SAR, which is SAR stands for search and rescue.
Sorry, 1 second.
You're fine.
Hey Ashley, can you go upstairs and on the thermostat just turn it off? No, it's on the wall, kind of towards the bathroom. You'll see it. So So are you a good swim? Do you have to swim a lot?
Yeah.
As
a rescue swimmer?
Yeah.
A little bit, but we did.
Is that sarcasm? Like,
yeah,
a lot?
It was a lot. And the funny thing is, I never swam, really. Jumping, whenever I thought of swimming, I was like, oh, yeah, I can swim. I can jump in the pool and float around.
But you didn't have no freestyle stroke.
None of that.
Yeah.
And how I
So what type, is that the type of stroke y'all had to use?
It was freestyle.
Or is it head out the water? Like, what'd y'all?
So there's multiple different strokes.
Right.
You had to do what's called a combat side stroke or an American crawl, which is the freestyle swimming stroke. And
dude, that's hard.
Dude, I didn't know how to like that, swimming for a purpose. I didn't know how to do that, and I learned by I went on YouTube and had it.
They didn't teach you?
So okay. Let me rephrase. So you had to. Well, going back, I guess, before they had those special programs, you had to meet a physical standard. It's a PST, so it's a physical standard test, I think is what it was called, before you could even get accepted into that program. because they put you in a special boot camp division and all of that stuff. But so I had to learn prior to joining the military, and
Right.
I didn't know any swimmers. I mean, I'm from Jackson, or I live in went to Jackson. There ain't no swimming team that went to Jackson,
Right.
and so next best thing was just go on YouTube, and I was like, how to freestyle swim, and I had an Olympian teaching me on YouTube, and I'd go and I'd visualize I was literally sitting there like swimming like this, like
Right.
in front of the computer, and then I'd go to St. Francis where they had a pool, and I'd go and practice, and I'd practice and practice until I thought I got it down. I'd start timing myself.
How long?
How long?
How long did you spend practicing? Like,
I'd say I got it down. Like, I'm a pretty fast learner when it comes to like physical stuff. Like, I can watch somebody.
don't embarrass me now. Let's
Well,
be humble because I'm still struggling.
oh, for swimming? I can help you,
Dude,
man.
there's freestyle. I can get down the pool and back, and I'm gassed.
Well, dude, you have like no body fat on you. You sink probably.
Yeah, but I still seen other skinny people doing it.
Well, yeah.
This guy was there today, and he just jumped in and shot out the water. And the way I'm just like, how?
Do you have long legs?
Yes.
That's your problem. So if you look at like guys like Michael Phelps.
Okay.
So like look at Michael Phelps. The dude is like I forgot. I think I watched a TED Talk where he's talking about like body types. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Okay, so this guy, I forgot his name, but he was talking about like, are we advancing as a people, like with training techniques? That's why we're breaking all these records, or is it the fact that we're finding body types that work for certain sports better than others? And he had like a Kenyan runner. He was like a marathon runner. He's like, well, look at this guy's body. So he's like, he's got a super short torso, extremely long legs, and
Right.
he's disproportionate for his body. And then he put up and he's like 5'10". And then he put up Michael Phelps. He's like, I think Michael Phelps like 6'4". He's like, okay, now Michael Phelps is 6'4". They have the same length in legs because Michael Phelps is designed like a short haul speedboat. Legs are real short. Torso is
It's long.
really long.
Long
and
arms.
Long arms and big hands. So it's like paddles in the water.
Right.
And so that whenever you're not doing, this whenever you're swimming, he's doing more or less this, which is pushing him forward. So it was pretty interesting. So that could be one of the detractors, but we can get you there, man. Well, if you need some help swimming, I can help you for sure.
Well, my MMA instructor, he's a Marine, and we just haven't spent that much time in the water. But I mean, yeah, I was in the pool today, and I just did tread water, put my hands behind my back, tread water like that. But yeah, swimming that freestyle is difficult.
It is, especially if you're not if you don't do it all the time, and a lot of people, I mean, that's what really. Like, especially in like naval special operations and special warfare, like rates and things of that nature. Like rates is a job, what they call jobs in the Navy. But that's what delineates a lot of guys is that being comfortable in the water. I mean, having, holding your breath, being able to swim, 50 meters underwater on one breath or 25
How
meters.
long is 50 meters? How long is the pool?
So where do you go swimming at?
Health Point.
Health Point, I think that's 25 meters down and back. So that would be down and back is 50 meters on one breath.
Oh, shit.
Underwater.
I managed to make it all the way down on one breath.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't train very long for it. Just tried it a couple times within a couple weeks, and so I could see myself, getting up to that for sure.
Absolutely, and you have to prepare yourself because like what they'll do is like if you're at rescue swimmer school, they'll sprint the crap out of you. They'll be like down and back, 50, do a 50 down and back, do 100, make you do buddy carries in the water, and then they'll make you do your 25-meter underwaters. And then you're like chicken necking all the way down. But and it just shows and that's just that's really what decides, if you're gonna make it or not, is being comfortable. I mean, they'll make you fill your mask up with water, get on the side of the pool, learn how to do breathe. Well, that's what I'm. Yeah.
Here's one of my biggest problems.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I have to hold my nose underwater.
Okay.
It's like water's gonna go up it. Like when I jump in the pool, I have to hold my nose.
Okay. You want me to teach you how to fix that real quick?
How?
Make that K sound. That how like your throat, like almost whenever you go at the beginning part of that.
I can kind of feel that up to my nose too.
Yep. That actually, when you make that, it's almost like you're like kind of almost like choking your
so
nostrils.
it closes off the airway.
Yep, it closes
Okay,
up
I'm
that
gonna try
nose.
it.
So,
try it.
and that's just practice. And another thing, like my daughter, I'm like trying to teach her how to swim. And so this summer I just had her blow bubbles. I was like, put your face, like she's like, I think she's like 1. So I think I'm pushing her a little too hard, but I was just dipping her face in the water, just making her blow bubbles. And
Oh, dude, I've seen videos. They got babies in pools, like infants.
yeah.
And they find their way. They turn their head up and they just swim with their face right out of the water. It's pretty cool.
I don't know how they do that. Like I was like, maybe I could teach my daughter. I was like, I guess I don't have enough time. We haven't spent enough time in the pool, but I think
Yeah.
the military, it was a great experience, and I really made me who I am. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say it made me who I am. It enhanced who I was becoming.
So you didn't go for combat.
So that's my whole gig in the military was I went in as a rescue swimmer. In the Navy, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll do my best I can. So in the Navy, there was 2 special operations squadrons that were just dedicated to supporting special operations warfare. So like SEALs, Green Berets, anyone and everyone from across the world, Polish Grom, whoever it may be. So I went to this unit thinking that's pretty much what we were going to do. But pretty much as soon as I got to the unit, that's whenever we pulled out of Iraq. And that's where our main operations were. So for the past, I guess since 2012 to 2004, so I guess what's that, 8 years, almost 10 years, the HSC 84, the unit I was with, we were doing the night missions and the 160th SOAR Squadron, which is the Night Stalkers, like the black helicopters, like the ones that,
Tight, yeah.
yeah, super tight. Those guys' budget is awesome. Those guys had so much. I was looking at our aircraft our maintenance were excellent. I can't tell you enough that our aircraft, they need to be replaced. So they're pretty old.
Wow.
But we went, they did the day missions in Iraq, and then we did the night missions, and most of your hits happen at night. And just, we pretty much would never turn them down. So like how it would usually work is like, they're like, hey, we got this mission. We want to do that. Like, the teams or whoever it was like, hey, we got this mission. You guys want to do this? And they would just be like, sure, yeah, we'll figure it out. We were just kind of like that guy. Like, we were like, oh, yeah, I know a guy. We can make this work. So they actually did I wasn't a part of the squadron, but, hearing, the pride of the squadron that you're going to, they did like an actual rotor over rotor, like, I guess, delivery of SEALs, like rope over a building. So basically, like, I guess one helicopter came in like this, and the other helicopter landed like this, and they both hit the target at the same time.
What the heck? That's
I know.
super dangerous.
Yeah, it was rotor. They called it rotor over rotor. And
Wow.
so they were like, and that's really what delineated us from, I guess a lot of other,
Dude, if them blades touch,
dude, you're done.
it's over.
You're done.
It's over with.
You're done.
So yeah, being up in last year on my not last year, actually 2022, on my woman's birthday, I decided I want to take her up in a helicopter. She's never been in one before, neither have I. So we went and rode a helicopter here in Cape for for an hour. It was awesome. One thing I realized, I realized that helicopter does not feel. It was a 3-seater one. It was very small. But I'm like, this thing does not feel stable. Like I feel like if I was to like move a lot, like I could make this thing crash. Like it didn't feel. It felt like we was just, I don't know, it didn't feel very like stable the way I thought it would. Well, and I don't know if that's because it's a small one or like are the bigger ones like more stable?
Yeah, the bigger ones are more stable. Like I think I know which ones you're talking about. It was the Robinson helicopters over there at Cape Cod.
It's the red one, yeah.
Yep. But my warehouse is right over there, so I see those guys taking off all the time. But the bigger the helicopter, the more stable it will be. So like the helicopters we flew in were HH-60H hotels, and they're the workhorse. They're solid. I mean, those things can fall 60 feet out of the air and recover on the ground. Like
nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what they can do. But the helicopters aren't meant to fly. They're not. Like there's.
Can they flip? Like, can you do backflips and stuff?
You can do backflips and like roll them and stuff. You're gonna the aircraft will never fly again because the airframe is just bending under the stress.
Oh, really?
Yes, but there's some videos of like guys like doing like rolls and stuff like that.
So if need be, you could, but it's not gonna fly the same afterwards.
Yeah, and I can't think of a time where you might have to do that.
Did you get motion sickness in the helicopter?
No.
I did.
You did?
Well, I get motion sickness very easily.
Like riding in the back of a car?
riding in the back of a car. Look, check this out. On a swing set. I'm dead ass serious.
No.
I swear to God, I can only be on a swing set for a couple seconds, and then I started to get like nauseous.
Really?
Yeah, it sucks.
Is it just when you're in motion, or is it just like you think it's like?
It's when it's certain motions, and it's when I'm not in control of it. When I'm driving the car, I don't get motion sickness, but you put me in that passenger seat or in the back, now it's not going to be good.
I got you.
But when we were in that helicopter, yeah, I was like, she did one move where she rose up really fast and then like dropped or something like that.
She did an auto rotation with you,
Like
where they just like fell out of the sky and then rolled back up like that.
Yes.
Oh my God,
dude.
She did an auto rotation with you
Dude,
guys?
it was nuts. I was
That's
like,
cool.
it felt like I was on a freaking roller coaster. And then, so when you're up in the air, it's like you're just cruising nice and slow, but you don't realize how fast you're going. When she got low to the ground, oh, dude, we're booking it. Yeah, dude, it was awesome. It was cool.
So that auto rotation, did she explain what she was doing? If that was an auto rotation, did she explain what it was?
Probably did, but I forgot.
So an auto rotation is basically a simulated crash. So the helicopter, like so they practice crashing, if that makes sense.
Right.
So a helicopter, like if it's flying along and you have like engine trouble or something like that, it can still technically fly a little bit. So because the air moving through, it's like if you had a fan, right? And I took that fan and put it in a window and I didn't turn it on, it'd still whirl around from the wind coming and hitting it, right?
Okay, yeah.
So the same principle works for the helicopter blades. So whenever you're coming in, they'll push the collective down, basically turning off the power. And then so the helicopter will just float down, and then they'll practice flip it, or like basically creating a cushion of air underneath between the helicopter and the ground, and then they'll pop and then hit it forward. So they don't actually touch all the way down when they're practicing. They'll pull up about 50 feet and then pull off.
Yeah.
Pull power and then pull off. But in real life, you just be like, boop, boop, oh crap, we're both engines are out, we're crashing, auto rotate, auto, boom, and then crash and hopefully survive. And it's
Dang.
actually, helicopters are super safe like that. Planes, you lose an engine, you better pray there's some place where you can land.
Right.
So, and sometimes you can't glide there's always that chance, but that's awesome that you got to go and experience that, man.
Yeah,
Took your lady. That's
dude,
wonderful.
If not for getting motion sickness, I would have been like, do that again, because it was super, dude. It's super fun. Like it was awesome. Like, yeah, it put my stomach up in my chest. I was like, ugh.
Especially when they first take off, right? You're like, for me, that's what it was.
Not so much because she didn't take off fast.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, she took off nice and slow. So when we rose up, it was cool. But yeah, But I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna lie. The whole time I was scared for my life.
Really?
Not like scared like there's a gun pointed at me, but scared like I don't know if we're actually gonna make it back to the building. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dude, anything could go wrong up here. Like, we're not supposed to be this high in the air. This is not, you know what I'm saying? We don't have wings. Like if something goes wrong, dude, it
the
was,
blades are the wings.
it was something else, man. But it was really cool seeing Cape from that high up. Like, yeah, cities look really cool from up high in the air.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cape looks small whenever you're up high.
It does.
I mean, looking out like in the county and like you see like just all the farm fields and everything, and then you look at Cape, you see Cape.
Yeah, we went over Jackson, and I was and I realized and at that moment in my life I realized how truly poor I am because I looked I looked down at my house. And I seen some other houses in Cape. I was like, damn, these motherfuckers structurally ain't even built the same. I'm like, they roof look way different from my roof.
Well, they're just a little bit ahead of you. You'll get there one day.
Yeah, I'll get there one day, hopefully.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Cape is nice, man. I like Cape. I could see myself living here, to the day I die. They got some nice houses in Cape, some nice neighborhoods, and yeah, and Cape's expanding too. If you go out even out by like Gordonville, they're building a whole bunch of new houses out there.
Yes. Gordonville is blowing up right now. That's in the Jackson School District too. A lot of people pretty much, I think it's there's a cutoff pretty much where Notre Dame is. So the
Notre
city
Dame,
of
yeah.
So the city of Cape took Notre Dame, and there's a trailer park right across the road, and they gave that to Jackson.
No way.
Yes.
What? That's so goofy.
Well, that's where I grew up at.
Dude,
Is that way.
why would they go to a different school when Notre Dame is right there?
Well, Notre Dame's a private school.
Oh, okay, right. So yeah,
So-
so they can't.
Yep.
So they don't get to.
Well,
So people have to pay to go there, I guess. Is
One-
that
yeah.
how private schools work? Oh.
Absolutely. So, like private schools, you have to pay, but in the state of Missouri, the city of Cape actually, I don't want to talk about politics, but there's programs that are now available for so kids that aren't getting the schooling that they need from the public sector.
No way.
Yeah, it's like school choice pretty much for a degree. I don't know a whole lot about it.
See, I wish I could put my son in Notre Dame
Yeah.
in a better school because look, I tried to get my son bumped up a grade because last year it was just like everything they was teaching him, it was just like, 5 seconds he's got it if you don't already know it, and he's waiting on all the other kids. Like they had him literally helping out with the other kids. And I'm just like, why can't we just bump him up a grade? And they just didn't seem interested in the thought, They're like, oh, we'll give them some tests for this. Like they just didn't want to. I'm like, why is this not like
challenging to him?
like exactly? And then it got to a point to where they're talking about, he got in trouble a couple of times because he's talking in class. I'm like, well, he don't have no work.
Yeah.
He's waiting on the teacher to give him new stuff. And yeah, I wanted to get him bumped up a grade, and it just never happened. So.
Well, it's like when I went to school, people think this is crazy, but I went to a one-room schoolhouse, like when I was in 3rd to 7th grade.
Wow.
Like literally had the same teacher, Jackie Brantner. Shout out to Jackie Brantner, the
So-
greatest teacher ever.
So you have different grades being taught in one room?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was actually off of Route W over. I think it's a dog kennel place. My grandfather actually built the building and donated it to the school, but it was Deer Creek Christian Academy. And
Wow.
it was us and it was a small group of kids for the most part, but I had the same teacher from 3rd grade all the way to 7th grade. And that really kind of, you lacked a little bit of social skills. So I never played sports until I got into 8th grade. That's when I started wrestling. And then, but there was so much benefit to that because it was curtailed to the individual student. I mean, and I think that's a problem with public schools is they're so big and they just
Right.
can't. I mean, a teacher has, 30 kids in a classroom, and it's human nature to okay, your son, say he's doing great. It's almost impossible for them to overlook the kids that aren't.
Right.
So I think, there's some stuff that Cape is doing, Cape schools are doing to help those kids that are elevated. I forgot what it was, but yeah, I'll get back with you off air about some of those programs. I know the State House passed them last legislative session, and Parsons signed them into law. So
Right.
it's a law. It's
Because man, I'm trying to get my son through school ASAP. Come on, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
I don't want him to spend unnecessary time in school.
Mm-hmm.
He already don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So and it's if you can teach him something and he can comprehend it, you can only it gets to a point to where you're wasting time. If if a kid's struggling with something, make sure they got it. But once they got it, it's let's kind of move on.
Yep. And that's one of the big problems, is, especially large groups. It's you want the best for your kid, but so does someone else. And well, why aren't you spending time with my kid? And it's well, why aren't you? Because he doesn't understand the material. And it's a big conundrum that our teachers are in.
I would rather, and then if they imagine, say maybe he's not quite ready for that next grade. He don't know any of this stuff that they're teaching. Well, good. That's where it needs, I'd rather my kid be, learning all new stuff every day, struggling to learning new stuff, than going to school, and as soon as you show him something, he already understands it.
Yeah, well, it's like fighting. It's like martial arts, wrestling, whatever it is. It's if I go to a wrestling room and I'm just pounding the crap out of everybody in there, am I learning anything? No. I want to go to a room with straight killers that I'm having to fight, learn, like teach me how to what you guys are doing here.
Right.
You know, the same
Not
thing with
like where you're asking your teammates, like, what am I doing wrong?
yeah, you know, and that's how you grow. You know, you're like always believed like we're forged by adversity. You know, forged. You know, we're all common people, but you know, with an uncommon desire to succeed, and we are forged by the adversity that is around us. And you know, that's what mixed martial arts, or you know, I say mixed martial arts, but you know, martial arts, wrestling, all these combat sports. That's what it helps do. It helps forge you. You know, diamonds are forged through pressure.
Right.
And, you know, with education, with making yourself uncomfortable, you know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, that's what makes people champions. So, I mean, obviously, look at this.
100%. Yeah. So you started wrestling, you said in 8th grade?
Yep. I started wrestling in 8th grade. And it was really because of my sister. My sister, she
beat you up.
Well,
and
no,
then
that's another story. Man, my sisters, they put me through the mill when I was younger, to say the least. But no, my sister was a stat girl for Jackson. And
stats?
Yeah, like stats. Like
really?
she took like
the
stats and stuff. That was like a thing. Was like the wrestling stats.
So she understood the wrestling.
She understood the scoring system and things like that. And I remember, I think we were in the mall, and I was in 7th grade. It might have been I was in 7th grade. She was in 8th grade already at Jackson, and Coach Wachter was in the mall. And I'll never forget this. My sister goes, "Oh, here's my brother Will. He's going to wrestle for you whenever he comes to Jackson." And Coach Wachter, I don't know if you know him or not, or if I guess you've been to a couple practices and met him maybe.
Which one's Wachter? Is that his last name?
Yes, Wachter.
What's his first name?
Steve.
I might have met him, but I don't.
If you meet him, he is like as close to royalty in a republic as you can get from Jackson.
My son's doing the youth USA.
Okay, so like with
wrestling.
Lance Schlick and
yeah.
Okay, yep. Lance is that dude, man. That guy can coach.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him. I like his style. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very about it. Like,
yeah,
I helped Lance. I helped coach, I think, like 2018, 2019, and I have a kid now. I wish that's what kills me is I love the sport of wrestling. Like, I didn't have a kid in it or anything. It's just you're shaping men. Like, I don't know.
100%.
You know, and girls. I mean, and girls now. And that's something, and that's what I love about the sport is I remember when I was going through, they're like, oh, you know, the sports are going away. Wrestling might not be around because their colleges are cutting it. Title IX.
Really?
That. Yeah. It was like SEMO used to have a wrestling team. And then Title IX came through.
What's Title IX?
So Title IX is basically, I guess in layman's terms, is you have to offer the same amount of scholarships for men's sports and women's sports. And so when that happened, you know, a lot of schools started cutting the fat. And wrestling, unfortunately, was one of those programs. So a lot of these, you know, smaller state schools were
you ain't got no dang wrestling team?
They used to, though. Yeah. They used to be pretty good.
That's bull.
It is, but that was part and parcel. But now women are actually saving the sport of wrestling because it's becoming more popular through the UFC, through MMA, the rise of that. And, you know, because wrestling is a foundational building block for a lot of, you know, continuing on in these sports. So you're seeing a lot more women's and men's colleges support, like opening up wrestling programs. I think there was one in the state of Missouri. I think it was Central Methodist, maybe. Yeah, I think that's who it was. But they, a couple of years ago, started up another wrestling program. So it's definitely one of those, like, you never would have thought it would have happened, but it's happening. So it's great to see, especially because wrestling matters. I mean, it really does. You know, or I think Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler. There's so many like people that
that's cool.
Yeah, he was. He's a champion wrestler from Illinois. So and it teaches you so much. Like I said earlier, like, you know, the military it helped, you know, kind of move me to who I am. You know, it's just everything in life. It's like, you know, growing up the way I did, the work ethic that was instilled in me, wrestling, which tested me physically, mentally, spiritually, and then going in the military, which, I mean, that was, you know, it was super hard, but it was not as hard as others probably, you know, took it because I had all that already. And wrestling really, you know, 2-a-days. You're telling a 14-year-old kid he can't eat the things that he likes because he has to make weight.
Right.
What madness is that? Like what other sport can you do that? I mean,
which is funny because, I mean, they're literally they're telling you not to eat the stuff you want to eat, but the stuff you don't need to eat.
Yeah, I mean, all of it. I mean, you're a fitness guy. I mean, like big into health. Are you still a vegan?
I cannot confirm or deny.
I got you. We don't want them
we don't want to
jumping
piss
on
off
here.
the vegans. No,
Yeah.
but so I've been a vegan. I was a vegan for like 5 years, and here in the last couple months, I started eating eggs again.
Okay.
And chicken. I was really curious to see like if I would feel a difference in my performance, like training and stuff. And so far, I haven't really noticed a difference. So I think I'm just gonna cut it back out again.
Okay.
Just like it's just.
So I should have brought the jackfruit that I originally was going to.
Oh, dude, I love jackfruit. Jackfruit's fire. Dude.
It is, right?
It's so good.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's like almost like meat, almost. But I haven't had one in a long time. But
oh, dude, it's so good.
Probably expensive. I mean, they have to come all the way from Asia, don't they?
They're actually cheap if you buy them in the can.
Oh, in the can?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, and then they sell them actually in like a package, with sometimes already seasoned with like barbecue or whatever, teriyaki. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, I don't think they're expensive.
I
mean, I guess if you were to compare it to like maybe some ground beef or something like that,
yeah,
like how much you can feed for the the dollar or whatever, then I guess it could be considered more expensive. But yeah.
Well, that's the best thing about like I mean I'm a meat eater. I mean I'm puffy and all that in my face and stuff. Gavlin says it's because I'm getting comfortable in life. And I'm like, yeah, I am, Gavlin. I'll give you that one, buddy. But that's the sport of wrestling, though. I mean, like it's insane, like how it affects a lot of kids, and that led me, especially my faith. Like, I believe in God. I'm a Christian, and that background coupled with the mental background, the physical background, the work ethic that was instilled in me, growing up building houses. From my dad's story, how he, instilled all the values, and then, in the military, learning, like, okay, this is what is fighting for something means, looks like. And then, after I got out of the military, like I told you, I think a while back, like I was a rescue swimmer, but I never saved anybody. Right. But after, I think it was 2017. Yeah, it was 2017. Hurricane Harvey hit down in Houston. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where like the whole city was flooded out, and they were like, "We don't know what to do." And I remember like I was just looking at like these pictures, like the picture of that guy, like looked like a cop or something like that, carrying that woman or a firefighter, and I was just like horrified. Like I was like, I want to do something, and it was really God who felt him like pushing me on my chest, like, hey, I prepared you for this for your entire life. You're a rescue swimmer.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a boat. I started making up all these excuses.
I don't have a boat.
Yeah, I don't have a boat. I don't have the food.
Where would I get a boat from?
Yeah, where am I get a boat from? And so I was like, well, I'll just, I was like, and it's like me. He's like,
You're checking out at Walmart, is asking if you want to donate to them. You're like, my money's getting kind of low.
So
you're just an asshole. You don't have one spare dollar. There's people literally drowning in Texas. Like, come on, dude. Like,
but long story short, like I put a message out on Facebook, and I was like, anybody want to go to Texas? I'm looking to, see if we can do any good down there. And one of my buddy's wives, who was one of my mentors at my squadron, he was down in Florida, and he goes, hey, she messaged me. She's like, hey, CJ is looking to get a boat crew together. He's got a couple boats, and they're going to head on over. Call CJ. So I called him. One of his buddies, he goes, a big avid duck hunter. And so they had the perfect boat, like the mud boats that you can get around in, super skimmed water. And anyways, we got one of those, and met up with another buddy of his from Louisiana. So I came down, we met them halfway, and then we went out, and dude, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, it was absolutely just, we pull in and the hurricane is still overhead. I mean, it's dropping 14 inches in like 12 hours. So, I mean, it's like over an inch an hour.
Dang.
It was crazy. And, I mean, Highway 55, there's vehicles, there's just like a river in front of us, and we're like stopped on the highway waiting for lights. It's like 4:30 in the morning, and we're just like, what do we do? Like, there's no direction. It's just complete chaos. Nobody's like sometimes you're like, okay, like I'm in charge here. You're going to do this. None of that. It was like every man for himself, and we didn't even know where to go help people. So we had this one app. It was called Zello, and it was like a communications app. So we were using that, but the problem was we didn't have any cell phone service because most of the towers were taken out. So there's no communication for a lot of the time. And I remember we woke up, we were still up, you know, and we were like, okay, well, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And everyone was like, you know, we'd talk to people, like, I guess that were still there. And they're like, oh yeah, people over here need help. And they're like pointing in the direction of like, okay, I guess we're just going to get in our boats and start heading in whatever direction they're saying people need help in. Well, we got up and we walked to like the edge of kind of like this highway on, I think it was I-10, and I look over and there's just like this gaggle or circling, corralling of people down in kind of this gully area. And there's a fire truck there. And so I was like, well, let's go there and see what's going on. I had my Navy rescue swimmer hat on. I pull up and like everyone like thinks I'm in charge. And I'm like,
Right.
you know, like, and so I start thinking like, you know, and like, we're all like sitting there like thinking like, you know, like, where do we go? And we're kind of conversating with each other, you know, got a bunch of boats and all this stuff. And I see this young kid carrying a bulldog in a box, and his family, like his sister, his cousin, and like his mom and his dad, walking over top of the on-ramp coming down. And I go up to him and I was like, you know, like, hey, like, where are you guys coming from? They're like, oh, we're coming from the neighborhood over here. And we're like, well, do those people need any help like over that way? He was like, yeah, they do. There's a ton of people that are trapped over there. So we were like, okay, and we start talking. He starts telling us, like, you know, what's going on. There's a firefighter there. He's telling them, like, okay, well, you go this way, that way, blah, blah, blah. And it was so complicated. I was like, dude, just come with us. Can you come with us? He was like, yeah, let me ask my dad. He's 19 years old. And so he comes with us, and we're like cutting down trees, like getting like we're on the front of the boats, like cutting down trees, like hopping it, and there's like 20 boats behind us.
Dang.
Dude takes us. His name's Skylar, amazing kid. I mean, just a heart of gold, just amazing. Directs us to his neighborhood, and we end up saving. He, along with the other, 15, 20 boats behind us, end up saving his entire neighborhood.
Wow.
You know, and it was amazing to see. I mean, like street signs, like, like where they say like, Mary Street, Heather Street or whatever. It like they were like completely underwater. Like probably,
Dang.
dude, it was intense, man.
So it's like, yeah, and it's like if you don't have no boat, you're screwed.
You're screwed. Dude.
What are you gonna do?
People were inside their roofs, so like how you have the access panels. Like
Yeah.
people were crawled up inside there. People were on their roofs. People, if they had a second story, they were on the second story. And people from Texas are very proud people. I mean, they're very proud, and if they don't need your help right then and there, they ain't gonna ask for it.
Yeah, and it's like once the water gets so hot, by the time it's time to go,
It's too late.
It's too fucking late.
Yep.
Traffic stopped up. Like you said, the water's rising inches, an inch or so every hour. Like, dude, before you know it, you were driving through water. Now your car can't fucking drive through the water because it's too high.
Yep.
That'd be terrifying.
It really like, and that's what I was seeing. That's why we wanted to go down there, and it was amazing to be a part of. I think Mark Twain said it's some of the best things in life you never get paid for, and that's definitely one of them. It's one of the highlights of my life for sure, was going down there and helping those folks, and seeing all my friends that were still in the Navy, like getting rescues and like helping folks too. Like one of my buddies was on I think it was like CNN or something like that, like him like pulling an old lady up, and the thing that people underestimate is Americans are the only people in the world that do stuff like that. The rest of the countries around the world, they wait for the government to come help them. If you look
Think so?
100%. You watch Germany, like go back and look at what happened when Germany flooded. They had like the Rhine flooded, I think it was last year or this summer. They were just standing around complaining about the government not helping them. Americans, they want to erect a statue to anyone in remembrance. They need to erect it some like dude in a Bass Pro Shop hat with a boat and, just standing there like, ha! Like, because that's who came up. The Cajun Navy came. And it's just a bunch of just good old boys and duck boats and fan boats and just doing what we do. It's that sense of responsibility for our fellow man that a lot of other countries don't have. Like, we might not agree on a lot of silly stuff, but when it comes down to helping each other whenever we're in need, America always turns up. That's just what we do. We're Americans. So
yeah, a lot of people do like to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if you're just broke down the side of the road, like eventually someone's gonna stop and try to help you.
Yeah, they're gonna try to help you. I mean, But the thing is, like, everyone has like a cell phone nowadays, so it's like unless you're like flagging someone down, it's like, okay, my wife gets mad at me when I stop and help people, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So it was Hurricane Harvey was pretty interesting to say the least. I think one of the most memorable. I think we ended up saving like 80 some people, like countless animals. Man, everybody had a dog down there. And I think that's something a lot of people forget is like how many animals. Like
Them dogs swim shit.
dude, man, there was like they can only swim for so long.
Right.
We rescued a puppy mill, I think, is what they call them. There's like a Chihuahuas. I mean, they had like
Because hell, dogs probably can't float.
no,
They probably like have to be paddling the whole time.
yeah, they have to be paddling. And there's like the thing about Houston was the fact that it was, or really like Orange or just that area of the United States, it was like there would be just flowing water, and then it would just be a dry hill for like half a mile, and you have to go get someone that's over that half mile.
So you have to go around.
You couldn't, because it would be like a ridge almost of dry ground, and then be water, and then water, and
So the boats can't get over
so
it.
the boats can't get over. Like there was one where we got a call for a lady that pretty much had like everything you can imagine, like dialysis, like low blood sugar, like she was going to on oxygen, and just terrible situation. And so we got a call on that Zello app. We were the first ones to kind of get on scene. We put our boats in. We drive about a mile, I'd say, and we stop, and there's no one there. So we tie our boats off, and we walk about half a mile on dry land, basically across this road. And we get to the other side, and we're like, I guess we're just going to walk here. And luckily, there are 2 boats that were tied up. And so just like, it's like, okay, thank you. That's awesome. So we grab those 2 boats, put our gear in there, and we start walking till we get to this lady's house. And like they kick open the door, and helicopter, like one of like we're like going affecting this rescue, and like a helicopter lands. I had like a flashlight, and I was like kind of doing like just lights or whatever, and like threw it in the middle of like this field, and the helicopter landed, took her away, and it was pretty cool. Like it was like I was back in the military again. So.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like fun for real, saving people.
It is. And I mean, you never want to do it because the circumstances of what you're doing it for, but like I said, it's, some of the best things in life you never get paid for. And that was just one of those positions and seasons in life where, God had something said.
Did they have pictures of the people on that app? Because I would have been looking for the baddies.
Oh, the baddies?
I'm like, hey, I just said your life.
Oh my gosh.
What's up with them digits though?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, it was just like, oh no, you need to go like save them and stuff. So, but like there's like pictures of us. Like, I know you probably can't see him on the podcast, but that's one of the guys we went with, and it was just, let's see.
Dang, that house is like, dude.
Oh, dude, it was.
The water's up to the freaking windows.
Oh, absolutely. There was water. Like, oh, that was hilarious. Rednecks with paychecks. Just guys with massive trucks.
Was it someone driving that through?
Yeah. Look at that guy. Look how small. Look how small.
I'm essentially I'm literally looking at a monster truck.
Yes.
The tires are like as tall as a regular car. Wow.
Yep. And I mean, it's just what it comes down to is just like, I mean, those are like, like people of guys, it's like semi trucks. It was insane.
Could you imagine not having home or homeowner or renter's insurance? Like your car gets messed up. It's like, dude.
That's
especially people that's like they're living paycheck to paycheck, barely, paying their bills and buying food to make it to the next week, and then some shit like that happens. Yep. Oh, so all your shit's wrecked, and you can't go to work. Like, man, that's crazy.
It is. I mean, it's like life. I don't even know what to say. It's like life, I guess. But I think a lot of those folks, when they declare a state of or a natural disaster or a state of emergency, a lot of federal funding comes in, so they can mostly get a lot if they aren't insured or something like that. It's like Florida. Like you'll pay like your mortgage will be like, I don't know, as much as your insurance that you pay, because no one wants to insure any houses in Florida because of the hurricanes coming through.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it was definitely a good time for sure. And but yeah, it's one of the cool things I guess I did in life. I went on a missions trip when I was younger too. It's like Guatemala, and went in the jungles there and all that. So,
really?
Yeah. And
so, Let me ask you this:
Sure.
do you think it's dangerous to travel like certain places? Because I'm always like, cause I watched this movie called Hostel, and
Oh my gosh.
now I don't want to travel.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm the type of person. So me, I have a very heightened sense of awareness for danger. Okay,
Spidey sense.
I see danger everywhere,
Mhm.
and it's like, I don't want to go anywhere I haven't really been before.
Sure.
And then it's like, I wouldn't want to leave the country unless maybe I went with a group of people. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, there are safeties in number.
like Guatemala. That sounds. I mean, I don't know.
The people down there are actually really nice. I mean, we were there to help them, and most of the time, like the people that are, I guess, nefarious, the people that are looking to do harm or like rob.
But you didn't
or
go
steal.
as a tourist. You went there.
I went there
on
as
duty. So
well, no, I was 13 years old when I went.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and went on a missions trip with Lee University. in
Oh, missions of
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah, this was
Okay,
sorry.
when you
We're
said
talking about the
when
military
you
and the
said
missions
I
work.
was
Yeah,
thinking, something like with the military. Okay,
I could totally see that. Yeah, I could see where we got confused on that. But yeah, there's a but no, went down there like I was like 13 or something, and we got to pull teeth like because it was a medical missions trip. So they
Okay.
had dentists, doctors, and all of this stuff. I mean, we were in the jungle, like monkeys in the trees, like
dude, that sounds tight.
dude, it was nuts, man. All those little kids wanted to wrestle with me, and because they're just Guatemalan kids, and I remember like I was like, I think it was actually younger. I think it was like maybe 11 or 12. I wasn't 13 because I remember like there was kids that were 13, and I was like, man, I'm bigger than these 13-year-olds. They should be a lot bigger than me, but they're malnutrition and stuff like that.
Right.
But I remember they all just wanted to wrestle, and like I was like, I got you guys. And so like I didn't really wrestle that much, but I knew I could, I guess, handle my own. But yeah, it was that right there, going and seeing how other countries are, and kind of rudimentarily understanding the reasons why they are the way they are. Basic. It really made me appreciate my home in America.
Right.
I mean, and it's
Oh man, we're privileged and pampered.
it really are. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like the fact like I can like just go to the store and get whatever I want.
Yeah.
Like I can go get fresh milk. Like it might cost a little bit more right now, but I can still go get it.
Right.
Over there, like you did not get fresh milk. Like you had powdered milk, and that's all you got. Like that was
Dang.
it. And food and stuff like that. I mean, they had a lot of food, but I mean,
Faucet water.
yeah, couldn't drink the water. Dude, first thing I did whenever we got to Houston after flying in, I brushed my teeth. Like that was like whenever I got, I was like, okay, sweet. I can brush my teeth with the tap water.
So you couldn't even brush your teeth with the water there?
No,
You couldn't ingest none of the water.
You couldn't
You had to
ingest-
boil it.
I don't even know about that. But yeah,
Jeez.
it was definitely it was a cultural experience that really, I guess, framed a lot of how like I've thought about stuff. Like I was like, okay, like things might be bad in America, here and there, but I think all
Unless
in
we're
all,
not still in the Stone Ages.
well, I mean, they're coming up. I mean, Guatemala, they have a lot of corruption, which drives a lot of the problems. Like America, we have corruption, and we freak out about it whenever it happens. But places like that, I mean, it's just all like the people are good, the government sucks. Like that's what it comes down to. Like but the people have agency and they can vote for people in power, but they just don't care. So that's why these corruption people still keep on getting in power, and they start draining, or making favors, nepotism, all of that stuff goes into it. But it's definitely I would encourage anybody to, go out on a missions trip, get with a church. You're Muslim, right?
I'm just a man of God.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, but I remember you saying something about that.
So
I did my homework on you a little bit.
I don't really claim any. I don't like to claim religions for real.
Okay, that's fine.
But like if I had to choose, then like yeah, I'd be a Muslim before a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather go to a mosque. I just like Islam more than Christianity.
Okay.
I like some of their guidelines, their rules more.
More strict.
And they're more strict.
Very much so.
Which is weird because I grew up in the Christian church.
Mhm.
I grew up with my white side of the family, but my my father's side, my black side of the family, they're mostly Muslims. Like my father, my grandfather, my grandmother on my father's side. So, but yeah, I like Islam. Islam is it's it's good stuff. You
Okay.
know the way they live. I mean, just like Christianity, they both have really good um, like guidelines for how to live your life. Um, but I don't really. One thing I don't like about Christianity is, um, I feel like they focus so much on uh, Jesus Christ and not as much on God.
Hmm.
Which a lot of people believe in the Trinity, the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost.
Yep.
But me, like if I pray, I'm gonna pray to God. I'm not gonna pray in the name of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything against that. That's just not me because I know that Jesus was the man. They say he was the Son of God, but you know he was he was a man.
Mm-hmm.
So
He was a man, but he was not a man. If that makes sense.
right.
You know,
But
so
yeah, I just pray to God.
that's cool,
But,
man.
and I don't,
Believe in a higher power.
look, I haven't read no Bible, cover to cover. So also it's like how I don't feel like I have the right to actually call myself a Muslim or to call myself a Christian when I don't even know the entirety of the religion. I don't know the entirety of Islam. So that's why you're not going to hear me try to preach any of it. I just feel like that's not my place.
Sure.
So
It doesn't stop you from being a good person, though.
100%.
I mean, and that's what I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, and I was like, even if you aren't a Christian, I mean, and you just decided to take some of the rules from the Bible, like living, not drinking, not smoking, treating your body as a temple, monogamy in your relationships, not having sex before marriage. I was like, you would live a good life. Like you don't risk STDs. You don't risk having a child out of wedlock. I mean, like being abstinent, not drinking, not smoking, not doing drugs. I mean, that's you'll probably do pretty good,
Right.
working hard. Like there's a lot of stuff that if you took that from there and applied it just in a secular lifestyle, you'd still live a very good life. And a lot of people actually do apply those Christian values to secular life, and they think it's not, but they really are. But it's definitely a good thing to have. I do believe in having a higher power and somebody like an architect in your life. So, but yeah, man.
Yeah, one of the things that that the Quran that I did read in the Quran is said that all Jews and Christians and Muslims and Sabians, which I'm not really sure what that is, but it said that they will all meet their God in heaven.
Okay, so like they're all connected. I don't know much about.
It was just,
the Quran.
I mean, I'm not gonna even pretend I know what exactly it means, but
Sure.
but that's what it said. I
Yeah.
thought that, and I liked that. It said that the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims and the Sabians will all meet their God in heaven when they die.
Mm.
And another thing it said was when you take Kalima Shahada, which is announcing that you believe there is only one God, that's Allah, and that that Muhammad is his final messenger. Once you do that, you're no longer allowed to shed blood.
Hmm.
So, I thought that was very interesting as well. So, yeah, but I do like the strictness of Islam, which is also why people ask me if I'm a Muslim. I'm not really going to say that I am because, I don't make salat. I used to make salat 5 times a day, the prayer you have to do. And, I just got to a point to where honestly, I'm just a selfish person.
Okay.
So, to be a man of God, you devote a lot of your time and your energy to God and worshiping. But I'd rather worship myself.
Well, there's.
I know it sounds bad, but not so much. Not that's I'm being facetious. It's a joke.
Sure.
Don't worship myself, but I like to spend my time focusing on myself.
Okay.
And certain things. But everyone's journey, how I am today is not how I'll be tomorrow or a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that my spiritual path is going to come later on in life, but right now I'm on a more physical journey for certain reasons. First and foremost, I want to set up a financial future to where I actually have the freedom to do the things I want to do.
Absolutely.
So
And you can do that with fighting, man.
time is money, so I'm trying to make some money so I have more time.
How old are you? Just curious.
28.
28.
I'll be 29 in March.
You're in your prime, man.
Right.
You're in your prime.
Right.
You can definitely. You're going pro here soon, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to get my first pro fight in March.
Okay.
I just haven't. No one's stepped up to fight me yet. Understandable.
Well, I mean, you're doing question mark kicks to their dome, and they just wake up like, "Where am I?"
but yeah, I'm definitely gonna take my professional career very I'm gonna take it very seriously.
Yep.
And do things the right way, have the right matchups, and like my plan is go 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and then be looking for the call from the bigger organizations like the UFC, Bellator, whatever, and start making some good money. And dude, if I can just get these bills paid and have a little bit extra to invest, I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
like I'm cool. Like, because anything after that is just all fun and extra.
Sure.
When you understand how important it is just to have the necessities in life and to be healthy, then everything else should just be extra, just fun, just like whatever. It's not going to stress me out to not have a Lamborghini or to not have a mansion. But if I can get that, cool, that's fun. I just care about, having a nice home, clothes on our backs, food, and, reliable source of transportation, whatever, have a little bit extra money to do fun stuff with my family, and I'm cool. I don't care about all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hell, if I was making a little bit of money from this podcast, I'd be sitting
donate
fat.
to this podcast right
now.
now.
Donate some money, but yeah, it's like if I can just make enough money to pay my bills and have a little bit extra for my family, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
I think most guys are like that. They're like, if you make a little bit of money, wife might be able to stay home with the kids. Not go out and buy like brand new fancy clothes all the time. That type of thing, but just enough to make sure my wife is staying home, doing taking care of the kid, doing what she wants to do for the most part. Being that man of the house. Make sure my kids are okay. They're getting a good education. They're being well fed. Clothes are good. I think a lot of guys just want that.
Be able to actually take time away, from work. Like take your family on vacation.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. Like
you can definitely do that as a fighter, man. I watch these guys like what like UFC they fight like there was like these guys get
fight like 2 or
3 times
like
a year.
3 times a year.
Yeah,
something like that.
And so
but that's when the thing is this: your first fight in UFC, you're only going to be making 12 and 12.
Yeah.
That's 12,000 to show up and fight, and another 12,000 if you win. And if you really show out and get a nice knockout or a nice submission or fight of the night, then you can get a $50,000 bonus. But when you look at all the expenses of training,
oh my God,
the 20% you have to pay your instructor, the 30 to 40% you have to pay in taxes. Like, come on, dude. If you make, let's say your first fight, you make 24,000.
Yeah,
you're gonna be walking away with like. I'm not sitting and doing the math in my head right now like a calculator, but maybe 15,000.
Oh my gosh.
Like so yeah, you got to start making, a decent amount to pay those bills, but then also you can, that's just fight money. You can also get sponsors, and stuff like that. So, that's just another thing another reason why I can't wait to actually just get on TV, so I can get good sponsors that can make it like, those can pay your bills right there.
100%.
You could have one sponsor paying you, say, $5,000 a month. That could be all your bills right there.
Absolutely.
So it's like, that's why I'm like, dude, I just can't wait to just get on TV, and because, dude, I know I'm a draw. Like, I have a great personality. I'm good on camera. I'm handsome.
Oh, okay.
A lot of these fighters. Let's be real. A lot of these fighters, y'all don't want to look at. You know what I'm saying? You watch them fight, but you don't want to take it. When they smile, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
You don't smile back so much.
Sure.
But yeah, I just know that I'm that guy. People like I have a lot of style, a lot of flavor, and I have many different styles when I fight. Like I can plant my feet and fight flat-footed. I can be moving around, swiftly, like a taekwondo slash karate style. You know, I can grapple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a good style. People like to see me. And then, you know, I like to strike. You know, I'm a striker.
You got that length, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to grapple, but it's not as exciting to the crowd. So
100%.
you know, I'm never gonna take a fight to the ground if I'm beating someone on the feet. It's like what for? People want to see striking. They like to, you know, people like to see striking.
Well, that's why they give those bonuses, those $50,000 performance bonuses, or those knockout bonuses, because people, like, at the end of the day, like, yes, wrestling is a part of it. Yes, jiu-jitsu is a part of it. A lot of people don't understand that. They understand when someone gets cracked in the face and is laying on the canvas, you know.
But if I do grapple, it's not gonna be like I'm going to get a dominant position and hold on. It's going to be like I'm trying to take you down, get to a dominant position, and start raining down punches, raining down elbows, or snatch up submission. Like, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a good fight. But
so what about this fight that's coming up? The guy that has too many letters in his last name.
Oh, Nick Delahousie.
Delahousie? That's how you say that? I was trying to, like, say that. And I was like, man, he's got too many letters. I can't read it all.
Yeah, he's like, I think he's 20 years old or 22 or something like that.
Okay.
20 to 22. He's young. I think his record is 3-3, and he's a Muay Thai fighter, so he's a striker as well. So I don't believe he'll try to take me down. I believe he'll try to stand and fight with me, which is going to make a good, you know, a good fight. You know, if he try to take me down, well, then, you know, I'll either stuff it and piece him up, or, you know, we'll go to the ground and I'll try to submit you. Like, and that's another thing I've been working on myself is I'll let people take me down.
Sure.
Like, I don't fight it that hard because, you know, I'm a very go with the flow type of fighter. Like Bruce Lee said, you know, be water. So a lot of times instead of fighting the takedown, defending it, I'll kind of just go with it. And then I'll pull you back into my guard and I'll start throwing up triangles. And best believe I'm going to land one. And if you throw my legs to the side and you pass, then I'll work from there. Like, I don't really force things when I fight.
Yeah.
I try to just, you know, go with the flow, see what are you going to give me.
And I think that's a big difference between, like, wrestlers and people that haven't wrestled, don't have a wrestling background. In wrestling, it's all about forcing your will on your opponent. It's like Michael Chandler, you know, like fast, explosive, you know, you're over there, I want you over here, and I'm going to move you over there. You know, like Tyron Woodley, or trying to think, like Bo Nichols. Like, do you remember, like, his last fight?
Bo Nichols, yeah.
Dude, man. Like, when he, like, rolled to his back for that triangle. That was sick.
It was sick.
It's like, I was like, what are you doing? Oh, my gosh, you're a genius. Like, you know, or, like, just insane, one of the two. But, yeah, he's, like, the one hope for wrestlers, I think, like, coming out. I mean, we got Kamaru Usman, you got Khamzat.
Khamzat Chimaev's a beast, dude.
Dude, that guy is scary. Like,
he's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now.
I was about to ask you who your favorite fighter is.
I've been watching all this stuff. So my favorite fighter right now in the UFC is probably Sean O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys got kind of the same hairstyle.
Right. He definitely reminds me of myself. And him and I are the same age, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm like a few months older than him.
All right.
And, yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite fighters in there. Khamzat, he's a beast. Who else do we got? I mean, dude, my favorite fighter of all time in the UFC was Anderson Silva.
Oh, yeah.
And then, well, dang it, you know, it's
now you're trying to build that Mount Rushmore.
It's a tie. Yeah, okay, I'll do it that way.
Do your Mount Rushmore.
Okay, my Mount Rushmore, which is 4 people, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Anderson Silva.
Okay.
John Jones.
Yep.
Conor McGregor.
Okay. Conor McGregor. Okay, it's yours.
Conor McGregor.
All right, go ahead.
And then Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse, yeah.
That's my Mount Rushmore.
That's pretty stacked.
Yes.
So let's break that down. So Anderson Silva, obviously, just massive, just star for how many years? Like, undefeated, you know, just back-to-back, you know, title defenses, crazy. Same thing for John Jones. John Jones probably the greatest fighter to ever step in that cage, period. And Conor McGregor, just literal showman, and backed it all up.
Yep.
And who else? Mighty Mouse, the same thing. Just the best,
most technical,
everything about him was perfect. So that's a hell of a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I really don't have one, I guess.
You don't?
I haven't really thought about it, to be honest, because I think, like, everyone's going to be like,
I think about so.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Anderson Silva would definitely be on there. So Anderson Silva definitely on there.
A lot of people put GSP in theirs.
GSP was great, but there wasn't the level, in my personal opinion, of competition that there is now. I mean, like Kamaru Usman, I feel like if Kamaru Usman and GSP fought, like both at their peaks, I think Kamaru Usman beats GSP every time.
I think so too, yeah.
You know, GSP, I think he's got.
Well, every new generation
I don't
is
know.
going to be better, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you're getting guys like it's a mainstream sport now. I mean, you're getting guys that are, you know, Bo Nichols is a world-class, probably Olympic wrestler. And now he's finally, you know, jumping in. So, yeah, I could see, yeah, who's my Mount Rushmore? I'm sorry. We got Anderson Silva, obviously. See, it's like they're trying to be different from you, but it's like I want to pick the same three guys. It's like everyone knows like who the goats are. So
I mean, you know, Khabib. A lot of people are gonna put him in there for sure.
I'm not a big fan of Khabib. Like I'm just not. Like I mean, like I'm in that camp of like who have you fought? I mean, yeah, you have fought a lot of great guys. You fought Gaethje.
Khabib has fought a lot of great guys.
And my fat ass sitting here talking crap about these world-class athletes, you know, I feel like a schmuck doing so.
Right.
But I just don't feel like...
But no, anyone can be a, you know,
I know better, though.
A knowledgeable spectator.
Sure, I guess that's, if we're looking at it from those lenses, yeah. Knowledgeable spectator. I mean...
Plus, you understand the arts, you know, you understand wrestling. Yeah. You know, I'm sure you know, have some understanding of striking.
A little bit, yeah. It's just I just don't think of Khabib as that guy.
That guy.
I would pick Conor before that guy. Like Conor was down
Dude, Conor was that guy, man.
He was. The dude saved this. Like I mean, like whenever he was sitting there and he's like, I'm wearing Gucci. I'm like a pimp wearing Gucci mink, and without me, this whole ship sinks.
Yeah.
Like, and he was right. Like he's like, whenever you make the company $400 million, you're right. You can pick your own fighter. You know, pick your fights. You know, I mean, it's like the stuff that he said, like the Jose Aldo, the stuff that Conor said to Jose Aldo was on another level of trash talk. Like when he was talking about invading, he's like, if this was another time, and
I would invade your favela on horseback and kill everyone who was not fit to work.
Yeah. Dude, like that's like, well, it's like him and Chael Sonnen. Okay, a lot of people. I would replace. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna replace your. Okay, you know, obviously, I'm gonna throw Chael Sonnen in there because I think Chael Sonnen. I'm gonna throw him in there because that guy brought the entertainment aspect in my mind to the UFC. Because like the way I explained the UFC to like a lot of, or MMA, like to a lot of like people that are like getting new to it, I was like, do you like professional wrestling? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, well, it's basically like professional wrestling, like, but they actually really fight each other and are like training like to do so. It's like there is that entertainment aspect. And I think like Chael Sonnen really brought that in to.
What sucks is this: you got all these fighters talking about you don't have to trash talk this and that and that, and it's just like, dude, most of the fighters that trash talk don't even want to.
Yeah,
it's just they're trying to sell the fight, trying to sell it. You know.
I mean, probably most of them, they'd be 100% okay not doing even a press conference. Just like, hey, you know, like, hey, this is, you know, John, and here's, you know, Carlo, and they're going to go fight. Like,
right. See, and I mean, I like trash talking because it just makes it more fun, more exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a part of the sport now. Like I mean, I really do. And
dude, we're about to get in there and fight.
What else are you going to do to me?
We're about to fight.
Yeah.
Like, are you not trying to knock me out? Are you not like, dude, you're about to try to knock me out. God forbid I say I'm going to knock you out. God forbid I talk about your hairline. And God forbid, you know, it's like these people, oh, you need to be humble. You need to this and that. Like, shut the fuck up. Humble? You're not about, I'm about to get in there and fight this guy. Yeah. This man could put me in the hospital.
We're about to go to war here.
This man could shatter my freaking orbital bone. Like, dude, he could break my jaw. He could break my arm. Like,
I think a lot of that comes from the martial arts side, like the humble side. Like, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, I am training to be, you know, like there wasn't really a sport. Like, you know, I guess that I guess.
You know who started to change that?
Who?
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee was a showman. He was the first to want. He wanted to bring martial arts, kung fu into, you know, Hollywood.
Yeah, he did.
And all the other martial artists, they frowned upon it. Yep. The old guys, the newer generation is like, yeah. You know, so You got to also look at it like that. I'm not just trying to sell this fight to 40, 50, 60-year-old men, you know, whatever. Like, there's kids that are trying to watch this. So that's why I try to keep everything like PG-13.
Sure.
You know, but it's like, dude, them teenagers, they like that. They want to hear that. Like, you know.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment. And it's fun. Like, after the fight, I'll shake my opponent's hand. I'll give him a hug. Like, I respect him, you know.
Yep.
I have respect for them, but let's talk a little trash. Like,
It's
dude,
part and
I
parcel
love
of the
it.
game.
I don't know if you watched my fight against Sam Coronado. So he trains at Glory MMA.
Was that the long hair
in Kansas City? No, he had really short hair. I fought him in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Okay, I didn't know.
It was an MMA fight, but you should. It's on my YouTube channel. You definitely should watch that.
Talking pretty
and
good.
Dude, I wish I would have added. I wish I would have screenshotted his posts and stuff. Dude, he because I made a video on Instagram talking about how I was gonna beat him, this and that, while I'm going for a run, right?
Okay.
And then he starts trash talking back. This dude called me an earthworm. I started fucking dying, dude. I laughed about that for weeks, bro.
He calls you an earthworm?
Yes, he called me an earthworm. Like he's like, you little worm, dude. Like it was just so funny, dude.
Yeah,
it was so funny and so fun.
Yeah,
because like even when we went to weigh-ins and we were standing there talking trash, like I can tell like this dude he's not mad, he's not butthurt, he's having fun the same way I am.
Yeah.
And when we got in that cage, I got in the cage first, and he's about to walk out. I'm staring him down. He's smiling, grinning at me and shit. He gets in the cage and he just walks up to me and fucking gives me a double bird, flips me off.
Nate Diaz style.
Dude, I start smiling so big. I'm just like, dude, I just love it. I don't know. It's fun. Like,
well, it's because you're confident. I mean, you have two alpha males in there, that are confident.
I grew up watching Jackie Chan.
Sure. Yeah.
The Ninja Turtles, dude. The Ninja Turtles are joking the whole time. Every time they're fighting the foot, they're joking.
Yep.
Like the whole time. Jackie Chan's the same way, making funny faces, making funny sounds. Like, yes, fighting is like a brutal sport, and I'm very serious when I fight, and I mean to inflict pain, but I'm having fun. I'll play around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fun, and I gotta be entertaining. Like
You gotta sell
not
tickets.
just for the fans, for myself.
Yeah.
Like you can easily get bored in a fight if you're just all too serious. Like have some fun with it. I have to tell myself that even when I'm training, I find myself getting too serious.
You gotta have fun, man.
Like
you gotta have
come
fun.
on, man. Like one of my teammates submit to me. Should I be pissed off about it and be cursing at him in my head, or should I be laughing like, oh, yeah, you're lucky because my arm started hurting just then and I had to tap early. Like, just
you gotta have fun
dude,
with it.
You gotta have fun with it, man. That's
like,
life.
Dude, that's like, I wish I would have known that like in wrestling in high school. Like, I mean, I put so much pressure on myself. Like, I gotta beat this guy sucks, whatever. Like, and I was just like, man, why don't I just like listen to like I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world and like my headphones and then just go out there and just have fun, or like something like I forgot who I was talking. I was gabbling. We were talking about how you just gotta have fun out there. Like, look at like Tai Tuivasa. That guy comes out to like literally he comes out to Barbie, live a Barbie girl song or whatever it is, and then like Patty Pimblin, like goofy, Patty Pimblin. But anyways, like I mean, just goofy. Like he come out, but like, dude, that guy.
Anderson Silva, dude. Remember when he came out with the Michael Jackson glove on, dancing to like Thriller or whatever it was?
Hilarious.
And then beat this snot out of dude.
Dude, he beat the snot out of literally everybody.
Adesanya, when he came out dancing, I think he was fighting Robert Whittaker that fight.
Yeah, he fought him in Australia.
Yeah,
in that massive arena.
Came out dancing like, dude, have some fun with it. And
came out, they did the haka. I think he was like did that like I don't know. I don't watch anime, but he's like a big anime fan. He's pose. Dude, it's just like you gotta have fun, and like if you win, you lose. I mean, like I'll say this, but like Adesanya, whenever he lost against Alex Pereira, the way that he lost was probably the most humble and respectable loss I've ever seen someone take.
And what's funny?
It was amazing to see.
A couple of people I know was saying that they thought he was going to take it really hard. He was going to be like depressed and this and that because we've felt these losses before, and we felt that like that fucking dude. I had one loss. I felt the deep depression for like a week. I'm talking every day. I was fighting back fucking tears.
Yeah.
I was so pissed that I lost that fight, and so like just disgusted with my performance, and just felt like just give up, you piece of turd. Like, oh, dude, I was depressed, dude. And then when I came out of it, it's just like I'm just like, dude, you're taking away the fun of the whole journey. Like you don't have to be happy that you lost, but be happy that you fought. Be happy that you were alive, that you were breathing. You got to step in there when there's people sitting in a wheelchair watching, wishing they could get in there and fight your ass. Like you gotta love it. So I was telling them, no, Adesanya, I believe his mindset is right where it needs to be, and he'll be perfectly fine. He don't care.
Absolutely.
And he was cool after it.
Yeah.
He showed up in that fucking brown, like, mink coat.
Yeah, talking to Errol
like, just
Helwani.
chilling like, dude.
It's like, he's like, I lost, man. I mean, it's like
So
deja
what?
vu, a bad deja vu. And you know what? He'll come back stronger. Like, guys like Adesanya, like that mindset. Now, the one I worry about is Kamaru Usman. I don't know if he's going to come back the same.
Well, here's another thing about Kamaru Usman. His knees are fucked.
Are they?
His knees are tore up bad. I was just hearing the other day, they were saying his knees are so bad.
Yeah.
Like, he can't even walk downstairs. And he's talked about this before. Like, he has really bad knees from wrestling.
Yeah.
He's had, like, he's been going through certain training camps with his knees so injured, he has to walk backwards downstairs. Like,
that dude needs
and
to.
still finding a way to train, probably doing a lot of pool work.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like.
That's insane. I mean, I'll say this much: he's way more of a man than I am. Because if I had to walk down backwards, I'd just be like, you know what? I make a lot of money. I've been a UFC champion. You know, second all-time title fences. You know, almost beat Anderson. You know, I'm gonna hang my hat up. I'm gonna go spend some time with my kids, chill out on this beach, and drink this mimosa or something. You know,
for real.
But you know, it's like those guys. Like, it's just insane.
Why do they stay in it?
Well, look, why is Conor McGregor trying to get back in it?
It's for the love of the game.
He loves it. You're
the
right.
The love of it.
The love of the fight. Like, and I don't think people really understand. Like, you know, it's like wrestling. It's like, why are you? Well, you don't even have a kid. Like, why are you so? It's like, I love the sport. I want to share my love for it. Or, you know, and like, it's just that dog inside people, man. I don't know how to put it. Like, it's just, you know, Conor McGregor. I mean, like, what has he got? Like $200 million or $100 million or something. Both like well in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's still, like, doing stuff like they used to do, like, on, you know, bootleg cable, like, back in the day. You know, it's just...
Not wanting to take a break, you know what I'm saying, from the gym, even though he just broke his leg.
Yeah. I mean, that was...
Now he's juiced to the gills, you know.
He's pretty big right now, isn't he? Yeah. I think right now would be a good time for him to go out and fight a little heavier. So I think I was listening, they were saying about, like, 170. They're trying to find a partner for him. I don't know who they're going to pick, though. I mean, if you got... Conor McGregor.
Michael Chandler, please.
Oh, my gosh.
Michael Chandler.
I think Chandler run through him. I don't know.
I mean, he could very much. He could. But the thing is this. It's like, is Conor ever going to be the same as he was at 145? He was just so sharp, dude. Just on point. Like, when people were swinging at him, they're just barely skimming his skin. And he's just right back with that, too. Like, dude, he was just cold. Another thing that made him such a beast and so dominant in his weight class is the fact that he's a southpaw fighter. Yeah. Which is another reason why, like me, I can fight. I'd switch stances a lot, but I've been choosing to stay more in southpaw because it's harder for people to deal with because most people aren't southpaws. Yep. Plus, it's like, dude, if I put my right hand in the front, my most dominant hand. So imagine trying to paint a picture. Okay. So what hand do you write with?
I write with my right hand.
Okay, imagine painting or writing with your right hand. Now imagine doing with your left. What's it going to look like compared to the right?
Not as good.
So imagine you put that hand, that first line of defense in the front. Like, it's so accurate, and it's your stronger hand too. Okay. So yeah, I love having my right hand in the front.
That's awesome. See, I think, I never thought about it like that. See, I'm not a stand-up
And that was
guy.
Bruce Lee's philosophy: put your best hand and your best foot forward.
That's very, very, very smart.
Like, my right hand and my right leg, the way I can sneak that thing up there and you never even see it coming is a lot different from my left. My left side is not as good as my right, but it's definitely getting there. Now, I mean, I'm still cold with my left too, but
I watch you plenty of times knock some dudes out with that. Just like,
he's like,
oh, he's not getting up.
Yeah.
That one reel you have, I think you go like you did like you mashed it together and you're like a superhero, like Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah. Put the lightning on and shit. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That was my last fight in Cape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was like, the guy had like really long hair. I forgot. I'm
Oh,
sorry, I don't remember your names. I'm so
William
sorry.
Irie.
Oh, it was William
Irie. Yeah.
William Irie. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I think he'll do good and he'll probably make it far too.
That's good.
But
is he a local guy?
I think he's from Kentucky, maybe.
Kentucky.
I'm not sure, but
Close enough, I guess.
but yeah, that was a fun fight. And you know, it's like, dude, if you watch that vlog, I did exactly what I said I was gonna do. I said round one, I'll dance around a little bit, you know, pick them apart, you know. I'll take it to round two, and then round two, I'm shutting them down. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Like the whole time round one, I'm holding back and just waiting till round two to really let go. You know, because and that's like, man, that's another level when you can, like Connor used to. I picked the rounds like when
they
you
call
can
me
say,
Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
right, like when you can pick the round and even pick the technique. Like Gordon Ryan, they said he's had a lot of tournaments where he would walk up to the judges or what the judge and give him a piece of paper and it would say open me after the match, and it'll say what submission he was gonna land.
That's
like, imagine I say this next fight I'm going out there, do this and then I'm waiting until round two I'm going to take him down and get him in a mounted triangle. And I go out and do it's like this dude's on another fucking level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
the psyop, like you're talking about like psychology and like, you know, fight like psych ops against like your guys. Like imagine that. Like you're like, oh my gosh, this guy said he was going to knock him out with a question mark kick in like the second round, and he does it. Like, what is he going to say whenever I have to fight him? You know,
dude, the level of discipline it takes to do that, because
you're like Babe Ruth pointing to the field.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly.
That's what you're doing.
Exactly. But even still, it's like you're just swinging a fucking bat.
Well, yeah.
You know, I mean,
you got all that going on too. It's different strokes for different folks.
Right. But yeah, man, fighting is so fun. So, so do you still wrestle in your spare time or do anything like that?
I really don't.
You ever trained jujitsu?
I haven't.
You haven't?
I actually.
Oh, dude, you'd fall in love with it.
I know. That's what I'm worried about. I reached out,
That's what I'm worried about.
I reached out to Kyle Kurtz a while back. Kyle Kurtz and I, we went to high school together, and you know, followed him. You know, I guess as best I could. Very, you know, I'd consider him a friend. And I reached out to him, and I was like, hey man, I need to probably get in shape. I'm getting fat. I'm getting comfortable, and I need something to keep me going. I want to do jiu-jitsu. Where should I go? And he kind of told me where I need to go and things like that. So I need to get in something, but unfortunately I don't have a whole lot of time these days. You know, being a new father and still she being so young and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, trust me, I understand that. You know, and that's it's crazy because like my kids, dude, the type of dedication it takes is just. You need to use the bathroom?
Yeah. Do you have one real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't forget to take that off. It'll choke you on the way out.
It will choke me on the way out.
Well, I'll keep talking with Ashley. So Ashley, what's going on with you, man? How you been? Yeah. Turn your mic on, man. So my cousin Ashley, my cameraman, he's coming to my fight too. Are you excited to watch?
I'm really excited. Also, my cousin, you know, Kalen, he's going too. And him and his girl, they're both going with me.
So
and we got the balcony seats.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how good of a view we're going to have, but I think it's going to be nice.
I mean, I don't think it's like a super huge venue, so I mean, you'll have a good view. And actually, sometimes those balcony seats are actually better than the floor seats because it's like you can kind of see over and inside the cage instead of having to look through it. And a lot of times, you know, like how you have the cage has corners and each corner is like it's like a post or whatever. Sometimes that little what are they in boxing they call it a turnbuckle, but sometimes it kind of obstructs your view. So you know the balcony seats might actually be better. But
I'm excited though, man. We already had I've had the tickets already planned like a week ago. I think is whenever we bought the tickets.
And you've never seen any MMA fights live?
Nope. But I knew, and I know I said that I was going to go to like a one or two in the past of years, but, you know, I flaked out. But this one, since you're the main event, I knew that I had to take a vacation day.
Yeah.
And see it, you know, because.
So you'll get to watch, I think there's like 14 fights or so. So you'll get to watch quite a few fights before I fight. And you'll get to see, you know, the difference in the level of, you know what I'm saying, the levels when you see all the little bummy bums fight and then you watch me fight and show how it's supposed to look, how it's actually done.
It's going to be fun, though. I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, shit, I forgot what I was saying. I was saying, I think I forgot. Well, but anyways, yeah.
That's when you know it's a good podcast, is when you have to go take a bathroom break.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be holding it. I'd be over here struggling, but I just
drank too
hold
much
it.
water before I got here.
Yeah, this
I always try
Jocko Go is kind of going through me. This is a pretty good drink,
Is it?
actually. Yeah. Increased focus, balanced energy, supports memory. It's keto friendly, sugar free.
My name's Jocko.
Jocko.
I read his book a while. I've read it so long ago I forgot it. It was like Extreme Ownership.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good book, man. Like, and it kind of like, after you get out of the military, you kind of forget like some of these lessons, like leadership lessons that you learned while you're in the military.
Right.
And you kind of get into that civilian mindset and things, because the military is.
Yeah, that peon, just burger flipping mindset.
Well, it's a different mindset, you know.
Yeah.
But like that really, I read that, and it was a good refresher on kind of like, you know, okay, well, I'm responsible for a lot of outcomes in my own life.
Right.
And taking ownership of everything in my life, you know, my household, being a good husband, being a good father.
It's a hard thing to do.
It really,
It's
it is
crazy.
tough.
A few years back, like years ago, that's something I learned. I can't remember where I learned it from, but someone was saying, like, no matter what happens in your life, blame yourself. Like, if your kid spills a cup of milk, blame yourself. Like, I should have made sure that there's a lid on that, or it's like everything that goes wrong, blame yourself and see how that changes you. And dude, it just makes you like just so much more focused on making sure, things run smoothly.
Yeah. I mean, trying to, one thing that the military always taught us is you leave everything, wherever you go, you always leave it better than what you found it. That includes your room, that includes your bed, that includes, the little stuff like walk, crawl, run. I think a lot of people just want to go take off sprinting, but they don't realize that you have to do things, that there's an order to things.
Right.
And, the military teaches you that order. They were like, okay, well, we're going to teach you how to make your bed. Okay, you can make your bed now. Okay, we're going to teach you how to fold your clothes. Okay, you can fold your clothes. Okay, we're going to teach you how to keep things clean. Okay, now you can clean your room. Okay, now we're going to teach you how to march. Okay, you can do that. Now we're going to teach you how to do your job. Okay, now you can do parts of your job. Now we're going to teach you more. And it's like more and more responsibility. It's not just given, it's something that's really earned. And like what you're talking about like, like blaming yourself, I really don't I don't think like deprecation, like self-deprecation. I mean, I love self-deprecating humor. Like I make fun of myself all the time.
Yeah.
That's just what I do. But, but
it sounds more negative when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whenever you're looking at things like, I guess, in terms of, what did they say? Control the things that you can control. And the one thing that everybody can control is the way that we react to situations.
Right.
So that's something I've always taken to heart. Like if I get I got hit in the back, I got hit when I was making a turn, like on 25, like out and like got crushed. And, I was fine. Everything was fine.
Dang.
The lady was like freaking out and all this stuff. And like, she was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Destroyed my 4Runner. And I was like, it's okay. I forgive you. It was the first thing I said to her, and I'm not trying to say like, I'm, high and mighty or whatever, but that situation, like I can't control that she hit what's already been done to my car. Like it's gone. I'm fine though.
Right.
But I can try to make that situation something a little bit better than what it is, but sometimes you can't do that, but, always make an effort to make it a little bit better than what you found it or where it's going, and, controlling the things that you can control. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff in life you just can't control. You can't control the weather. You can't control, certain things, but, just control those that you can control. And your emotions is definitely one of those things you can't control. So.
Yeah, that leaving the place better than it was before you got there. Americans definitely need to focus a little more on that, because them public restrooms. Hey, come on now, y'all know damn well y'all could have wiped that toilet seat off. Just like, oh well, it's already a little dirty. I guess a little bit more dirt ain't gonna hit. Like,
where you can see the by the stalls wherever you go in, and it's just a wet spot right underneath them.
Like, come on, man.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah, I definitely instilled that in my kids as well. Like, I can't stand a mess, and just like don't leave a mess there. Just clean it up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Clean your rooms. That's a big thing. I don't know if you ever listened to him, but his name's his name's Jordan Peterson. He wrote a book called 12 Rules for Life.
Yeah,
You
I've
know,
heard of him.
dude.
I've listened to some of his videos.
Very insightful guy. I mean, I think he gets a bad rap from a lot of people that want to see him not succeed, I guess, but he really does care. I mean, like, and a lot of stuff he's talking about is like, it's literally like what the military
Man,
taught you.
The thing is this: in life, it don't matter what you're preaching. There's always gonna be somebody, because you can be preaching, give out free money to everyone you see, everyone you meet, and someone's gonna be like, well, you can't just give money to everybody. That's then they're not gonna work. Like just someone's always gonna have something to say. Just people are just always gonna be negative, and that's just part of life.
Well, you're going to experience that, especially being a fighter. I mean,
100%.
Stepping out there and, whenever you put yourself out in the spotlight, my dad referred to it because he's from the East Coast, like Baltimore, crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
Throw a bunch of crabs in a barrel, you don't need to put a lid on it because some crab starts crawling out of the bucket, boop, that other crab will pull you down.
Right.
So, there's something to be said about, knowing where you're going, having the confidence in yourself, your beliefs, your foundational principles, and utilizing those to get you where you want to be. And so I think, that's why I love MMA. That's why I love the sport, because a lot of these guys, they come from really nothing, and it's them putting in the effort. It's like whenever you're out there fighting, there ain't no one else out there helping you.
Nope. You got a corner man, but he ain't fighting for you.
He ain't fighting for you. Same thing with wrestling. When you're out there, like, you're doing it. And really, at the end of the day, yeah, you could say, the judges did this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it's kind of all on me. You know what I mean? So.
And being a fighter, it's funny because, like, you see a lot of fighters, they lose a fight, and then guess what? They start training with other people. They switch up their cornerman or this and that, switch up teams. But it's like, if you got a shitty team, you got a shitty team. Like,
sure.
if your coach sucks, then, time to look for a better one. But most of the time, it's like, dude, that's on you. Like, you lost that fight.
Yep.
Or you didn't follow your coach's game plan. Like, don't blame anybody else around you. You got to put it all on yourself.
Especially when it comes to those decisions. That's the thing where I see a lot of fighters
right.
complain about the judges and things of that nature. And I'm like Dana White and all.
Oh,
you hear those guys all the time. They're like, don't let it go to the judges' hands. Like, don't let it go to the judges' scorecards.
Right. See, I've traveled and fought so many times that literally, if I have in my mind before the fight, if I don't finish him, they're going to give it to him. Because guess what? I'm usually fighting someone in their hometown.
Yep.
So I never really, even when I won the USA IKF belt, I'm literally standing there when they're about to read the score. I'm like, please don't fucking rob me. Like I knew I beat this guy. I'm like, please don't rob me, because I'm like, oh, I didn't finish him. They're gonna give it to this guy.
Yeah.
This is they know this guy. This is their guy. He's got all these fans here. Like, I'm like, they're gonna give it. I'm thinking, damn, did I just lose this fight? Because I didn't finish him?
Yeah.
But they gave it to me, and I was like, you're damn right. They know what they're looking at. I'm like, okay, they know what they're looking at.
So they were fair to you. That's good.
Exactly. But you don't get that a lot of times. You really don't. Or what if the judges what if the judges have an off night?
Yeah.
What if they're not paying attention? What if they just judge 10 fights and they're kind of losing focus? You know how easy it is? Like, and then look at all the fights that we watch. There's been plenty of fights I watched. I said, this guy won. And then I went back and watched it a second time. And I said, oh, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I had it wrong.
Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, Peter Yan. Like, I was like, I thought.
You thought it was Yan?
Yeah. Oh, no, Peter Yan. That last fight that Sean O'Malley had with
yeah,
Peter
you thought,
Yan.
who did you think won?
At the end of it?
Yeah.
I did not know. I honestly did not know, because the criteria is mostly damage. Like, that's the big, and I was like, well.
So I gave it to Sean.
I gave it to Sean. Yeah, like when I started really looking at it, like before they announced it, I was like, I'd give it to Sean, because he connected a lot more. But I was like, but I mean,
like, sure, Yan had a little bit of a control. He got to take down a little bit of control time, but he didn't do nothing with it. He didn't land no big shots. He didn't, no submission attempts. Like, it just, you held him. You held him for a little bit.
Yep.
That shit don't mean nothing, man. Come on, man. We talking about a fight. That shit don't mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't wrestling. It's not, you don't get near fall points and pinpoint. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? This is MMA. Like, you do something like.
Yep.
Now, of course, if you take someone down and you're in a dominant position the whole round, you won that round. But if someone hits you with a boom, boom, bop, bing, bow, And then you take him down and hold him for 2 minutes. Like, no, you got stole on several times, and then you did nothing but hold on to him.
Yep.
You know, so people want to go like that control time, man. Judges are starting to, and the thing is this: they're starting to frown upon that whole holding someone against the fence, holding someone against the ground. Okay, so Paddy Pimblett, his last fight, and I think it was the 3rd round when Jared was holding him against the fence. I noticed the whole time that he was holding him against the fence, Paddy was the one landing short shots. So I was giving that time to Paddy because he was landing little shots.
He was making contact. He was doing damage.
Right.
You know, and I think that's what a lot of people like, because I think you have that big, huge jiu-jitsu influence in MMA. I mean, there's everyone, you know, is a black belt, it seems like these days. And
shit,
like,
not me.
Well, you're working on it.
Wish I was.
You will be. But, you know, and they want to see that grappling, and they see that as such a pivotal part of the sport.
But man, the thing is this.
Damage.
I don't want that black belt until I'm a black belt.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a black belt, ain't no white belt on earth going to come and tap me. And, you know, like, it's like, if I'm a black belt, dude, I'm a black belt. Like, I'm not getting submitted by people. I understand every aspect to the game. Like, I don't want to be that black belt that just is not, and it's not just about, well, when I say not getting tapped, that's thinking of me as a young man. But, of course, when you get older, hey, when them young guys going to rip your head off. But as a black belt, you have to have that knowledge. You don't have to necessarily be able to. What happens when you're 60? You're still a black belt, and you understand a lot more than those younger guys that are blue belts, purple belts, but they'll smash you. You're 60. You know, when you're old, when you get older, Father Time catches up with everybody. But you got to have the knowledge. You got to know the names of the moves. You know what I'm saying? You got to know in this position right here, when you're a mount, you have to see at least 5 different transitions, 5 different submissions. Like I mean, really, as a black belt, you should know a lot more. But like, you have to have so many different answers in so many different situations, and I'm not at that level.
So let me ask you this: is that a pretty like? It sounds like, is there like a problem you think with like people getting certain levels of belts that probably shouldn't be getting them?
Yes, and the thing is this: there's not a set criteria.
So it's
in
just
order
subjective.
to be a medical doctor.
Yeah.
The tests are going to be the same throughout, like, the nation, right? Like, for the most part, you have to all know the same stuff. But with jiu-jitsu, it can be, like...
Just from dojo to dojo to dojo kind of thing?
It's... The thing is this.
I don't want to be talking
No, it's like...
jiu-jitsu politics.
No, it's like this. If you go to the school and you ask them for a sheet of the criteria, are they going to give you a list of things you need to know? Most of the time, no.
No.
You're not going to, you don't even know. So, you know, but everyone knows who the real black belts are and who the illegitimate ones are, the ones that aren't that knowledgeable. You know, everyone knows. Like, people know. If you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu here in America, almost every other black belt knows who you are. Now, of course, there's more, so it's getting a little less. But, like, dude, if you go back 20 years ago, if you're a black belt in America, there ain't a black belt in America that don't know who you are and probably hasn't met you.
It's like like a very high-level club.
Like, everyone knows. Like, if you're a UFC fighter in the featherweight division, you probably know almost every other UFC fighter, even if you try to pretend you don't. You know, so, yeah, I mean, the legitimate black belts, people know who they are, and, you know, it's just different for different people. Like, imagine that guy who starts when he's 30 and he's not competing. You know, it'll take him longer to rank up than a guy who's like 20 and he's shown up to the same amount of classes, but let's say he's going to competitions and he's smoking people.
Sure, yeah.
Proving, like, through beating people. I believe that if you're going to competitions, you should rank up faster.
Is that a part of it? Like, if you like,
nope, you don't have to go to competitions.
Well, I mean, like, so like, do some I call dojos.
Dojo, yeah.
Dojos. So like the dojo, like the mat. I'm sorry, I'm so ignorant when it comes to.
Dude, people call it different. Some people say gym. Some people say dojo. Some, you know.
Well, who's the guy that's like the leader, like the black belt, like who has the dojo? What do you call him? Master.
Yeah. So it's different arts. Some,
let's say jiu-jitsu.
Some will say master. Some will say professor.
Okay.
Some will say and in Chinese, like if it's a Chinese martial art, they'll say sensei.
Sensei. Okay.
If it's a what are the other names? There's different names for different arts.
Okay. Well, so like say like the we'll say
so
master.
sensei or sifu.
Okay.
But like if it's jujitsu, no one's gonna say sensei or sifu.
I gotcha.
That's like Chinese martial arts.
Professor with like more
they'll say
common.
they'll say like professor.
That's pretty cool. I like that, professor.
Yeah.
So like say like I guess we were going back to like, you know, if I go to a competition, say like I'm a white belt, right? And I go and I fight other white belts and somehow I get put in with like a blue belt or something like that. Like
That's not gonna happen.
that's not gonna ever happen.
They have
strict weight.
the only way that's gonna happen is if you do no-gi. And no-gi you don't have white belt, blue belt, brown belt. And no-gi you have intermediate.
Okay.
And then you have you have beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So if you go intermediate, you might be going against a purple belt and you're a white belt.
Okay.
Guess what? If you're a white belt, you can do advanced and no-gi and go against a black belt.
Huh.
Gavin did that.
Really?
Yeah.
He
And
has-
he almost won that match too.
Really?
Yeah. He caught him in a submission, but he didn't get the finish.
See, back in the day, I would like be okay wrestling Gavin, but like now, I don't think so. I don't want to do that.
You'd be fine.
Nah, man.
Because Gavin's not going to take advantage of the fact that you're not in fight shape. You're not, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you know, if Gavin and I weren't friends and I didn't know who Gavin was, I'd be like, oh my god.
Right. Well, yeah, of course. Of course. But yeah.
You need to get him on here one day.
I've had him on several times.
Well, I've seen the ones where he's been on here, but like all three of us, we can just get a
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
round robin going on here.
Yeah, I haven't had two guests on it once yet. I don't think, but yeah, that'd be because I got multiple microphones, so I got 3 microphones. So yeah, we could do that one day. That'd be tight.
That would be tight.
But yeah, as far as you know, trying to train with kids, you know, like you said, you have a newborn, so you have a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
A girl?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm gonna have all girls, man. I just know it.
Yeah, you gotta have a boy.
Well, I mean, obviously I want a son.
Yeah, of course.
It seems like that's how like the world works sometimes. So.
Yeah, I got my boy first, and my son, he's 12. My daughter, she's 7. She's about to be 8, and I wanted to put her in wrestling, but I'm like, she ain't ready for it.
Yeah,
she is not ready for it. So she's gonna do jiu-jitsu for a couple years, and then I'll switch her over. Wrestling's a lot more like, so just a lot more gritty, and she ain't ready for that yet.
It's like you got to be.
You gotta be tough.
You have to have a personality for it.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, like I was just naturally aggressive when I was little, so it was just a great caveat for me, like into just finding a way to channel that aggressiveness into a sport.
And and some of that, the grit fuels certain people, and then some people will piss they fire out. So like even something so small, like say you're wrestling, say you're like their elbow pinches your skin against the ground or something, just a little like skin pinch. Some people that's gonna make them like move more, like, and then other people are like some kids is.
Well, the studs in wrestling, I mean, like, they will literally, like, probably the same thing, like, with jiu-jitsu. Like, the studs are, like, the black belts. Like, I remember, like, we had this coach, Martin was his name. He was the coach for Granby. We used to go to these Granby camps. And the way he explained a move, he was like, all right, so you're going to throw in this half, you're going to run this wrist, you're going to run him around a circle. And if he does not move, you will break his neck. He's like, but the studs will let you break their neck and roll you over and then get you on your back. Like, the way he explained it was like, okay, so that's the mentality of a stud champion, however you want to look at it.
And you have to know what techniques are going to work against the people that will not tap.
Well, see, that's where like the wrestling differs. Like, wrestling, it's like we just train kind of for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you have certain moves that you like that work, but it seems like, the chess playing game it gets more serious whenever you step into like jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, dude, because there's submissions. There's so many different. You're manipulating the joints and you're going for chokes. Like, dude, there's just so much there, and that's why a lot of people will say, go for a choke before you go for a joint manipulation like an arm bar or something where you're trying to break. Because guess what? You break someone's arm, they might not even tap. You know what I'm saying? They might just keep fighting through it. But if I put you to sleep,
yeah, you're done.
You're asleep. Like you can't keep fighting. So that's why it's like a lot of people argue it's best to just go for a choke before any a break a breaking submission or
was that
joint manipulation.
Jamal Hill versus I'm trying to remember who the Scottish guy was. He like broke his arm and like Jamal Hill's arm's just like flopping around. Well, there's so many cases of that. Like
Yeah, I
Tim
don't remember
Sylvia
that one.
back in the day. Remember Frank Mir snapped his arm and he's
Oh,
still
these
slamming him down with it. He's
The
like,
ref
"It's
stops.
fine."
He's like, what?
His like forearm is like bending like a book. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. But
John Jones, when he got his arm hyperextended by Vitor Belfort, that was nuts.
dude, stud though. I mean, he's like, I'll let you break my you break my arm. I got my left arm, and I'm gonna beat the crap out of you with it.
When you got hundreds of thousands on the line,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think those guys though, when it gets to that level, they're like, yeah, money's good, but it's like I'm here for the sport. Like John Jones, you can't tell me that guy would not do what he's doing for free. Like, that guy is just a savage, man. Like just.
But like if it's me and it's a fight, dude, I'm not gonna let you break my arm.
No,
I'd rather tap, live the fight another day in a couple weeks or whatever. Not have to recover for a year. Like forget about that. No.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, but it's different. I mean, like you know what I mean. Like you don't have a.
Unless it was a world championship fight, that's different.
Yeah, I mean, just doing it like on a local circuit, like amateur, you know, like especially an
amateur.
Even
if you're an amateur and you're not tapping and they got you caught in an arm bar or a Kimura or something, you're a dipshit, dude. Like, dude, you're not even getting paid. You're dumb, dude. Just tap and move on to the next fight.
Yeah, we'll work on this.
Now, when you're a pro and there's $50,000 on the line, you best find a way out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like.
There's something to fight for.
Right, exactly.
I can see what you're going there. Yeah, that's so true, man.
Even dude, you'd be surprised in the dojos how stubborn some people are, how prideful they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like my instructor says, tap early, tap often.
Yep.
You know, it's not worth it. Even if they don't have a choke full in, or say you're doing a neck crank on me.
Okay.
Like, I don't have to tap. You're not gonna break my neck, but guess what? My shit's about to be messed up for probably maybe a couple weeks. And then, residual effects for who even knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I'm not going to let you just pry on my neck. I'm just go ahead and tap. And I'm going to tell you, you didn't have the choke. You were just hurting my neck. So, if this was, I'll tell y'all, if this was a tournament, I would not have tapped. But since I don't want to be hurt tomorrow, like, that's why I tap.
Yeah.
And it's important you let your teammates know that.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, they'll if I submit someone, they'll ask me, or I'll ask them, like, if I get that choke, especially certain ones that are kind of, like, hard for me to get, like a head and arm choke. I'll ask them, hey, was that choking you, or did it just hurt? And they're like, it just hurt my neck, kind of. And I know, like, okay, I didn't actually have it fully sunk in. In a real fight, they wouldn't have tapped. I would have had to make an adjustment, so. But yeah, man, I'd definitely love to train with you sometime,
Sure. I mean, I haven't. Gosh.
He says, gosh.
Gosh, I haven't stepped on a wrestling mat and like trained and.
I think you should come to some of our jiu-jitsu classes.
I
man.
need
It'd
to.
be fun.
I need to. I think it would be fun, and I think it would hopefully light that fire back underneath me.
And dude, you don't want to be, what I'm saying, out of shape and like.
This is the worst shape I've ever been in my entire life.
Dude, when you're
like, right?
Like, think about when your daughter is 5, 10, like,
yeah,
and then being a teenager, and then you might even have another, have another kid, maybe even a son. Like, dude, you want to be a man, like.
Yeah. I want to be top dad.
Top
top dad.
He said, I want to be top G. I want to be top dad.
Top dad.
Right, but I mean, you don't have to be crazy,
kids can
dude.
You fit in that?
Dude,
I could fit 5 kids in my minivan.
You could literally go like, I mean, as long as you have the the money to afford it, and it's not like strenuous on your budget.
Yeah.
Paying like $100 a month just to go like, even 3 times a month, dude. That's gonna make a big difference in your overall mental state and your physical state.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm less dangerous than what I used to be.
Well, yeah.
If that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I used to be like, man, okay, like something happened, I can handle myself. Now I'm just kind of like, I'm like thinking like, how
you're calculating how fast you can subdue somebody like you're the equalizer, because you only got 30. How he sets his watch for like 30 seconds. You only got 30 seconds.
Got 30 seconds before my gas tank is
right,
gone.
right. Yeah.
Maybe he'll get tired.
Right.
Defense, Marshall. Yeah, it's something that it's always been on like the forefront of my mind, is like trying to stay in shape well enough so I can do stuff with my kids, like
Right.
go on hikes, go on walks, like whatever it may be, building that tree house for them, or it's just anything, man. I mean, health is it's so taken for granted.
Right.
And
Oh yeah.
especially whenever, I mean, I could literally just go to Burger King and get like a double cheeseburger for like nothing, you know what I
Right.
mean? And it's convenience, but yeah, I'm not going to stay this way for very long. It's not who I am. I used to do like ultra marathons and stuff.
Dang, for
Yeah,
real?
weird, right? Yeah.
Ultra marathons.
Yeah, 50 milers and stuff. Like I did one. It was in Destin, Florida. It was the first warrior. Gosh, what was it? It was back in like 2011, I think. I have to go back and look at my Facebook.
So is that just running?
It's just running.
You ever done a triathlon?
I am not. I guess that's what rescue swimmer school is like a triathlon for like a few weeks, like for 7 weeks or however long it is. But
So you ran how many? You said ultra marathons.
so an ultra marathon, you're fine. Anything that qualifies for an ultra marathon is like a 50K or higher. I guess like the 50K, like the true
How
ultra.
many miles is that?
Oh, you put me on the spot
Like
here.
20.
It's over
like
20.
Over 20.
Ashley, look that up. I'm just
Look that up, bro.
No, I'm just messing Ashley. But
He
no,
never looks anything.
I know,
up.
right?
We're
Come
just
on.
over here just guessing
Just
shit.
guessing stuff, and Ashley's like,
Our fact checker is not
I know, right?
not up to par for the conversation.
Oh man, but
Making us look silly over here. Earlier, I was just trying to do that math. Remember, I said I'm not going to do the math in my head?
yeah, Ashley, you had your chance to shine right now. Buddy.
That was your chance.
He's doing a fantastic job on those cameras, though. Good job, Ashley.
So, but yeah, dude, I always wonder, like, damn, could I do like a marathon, like 23 miles?
Dude, it's
The furthest I ever ran was 7 miles.
really.
Yeah.
So I did. So the ultra marathons, it's just like, no, you're fine. You're just deciding like before you start that you're gonna finish. I mean, dude, I've never felt like my legs lock up so bad. Like I'll never forget like the last dude. Like so, oh gosh, what was it? Mile 20. It was like mile 20. It was like we were like.
Take a step and your leg locks up, you hyperextend your knee backwards.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I think there was so much blood in my legs that couldn't even physically happen. It was just like walking on like my logs were legs.
Hey,
My
what's
legs were
that dripping out
logs.
of your shorts? I think that's lactic acid.
Yeah, but no, like we like it was on the beach. So the problem was like down in Florida, the beaches are not level. They're like like that.
Right.
And so you're running kind of sideways. And I remember I was
Oh, dude.
like, yeah. And so like I was like your ankles are starting to hurt. And then I was like, okay, well I guess I'm gonna go run on the soft sand. And so I took my shoes off, put them in my backpack, and then I was
Dude,
like,
and that's harder because you sink into the sand
Yes.
and you don't have that spring about you.
you don't have that
You're
spring
just
about you.
sinking in every time.
But it was like a relief for my ankles.
Right, because the
And-
shock.
Yeah, and then like basically I just remember like I think it was like after the halfway turnaround point, I was just like I ran like another mile and I was just like, what am I doing?
Why
with
am
my
I
life?
doing this?
What
Like,
what psychopath would do something like this to themselves? Like who does this? Like not a normal like I'm like really questioning my own
it's
like
not normal.
yeah, it's not
it's
normal.
not.
It's not normal
not.
at all. And I think it was like mile like
I don't care how many races you've seen.
No.
You ain't, hey, unless you've done it, guess what? You ain't like them people right there.
well, it's like David Goggins. Like David
Dude.
Goggins, like that dude's like does like 100-mile marathons and stuff like that. I'm just like, and anyway, but like I remember like I'll never forget this. Like we had a guy, his name was Gish. He was he was going through rescue swimmer school with us, and he was like our tracker or trail or something. He would like bring us stuff or whatever because there's multiple guys doing this. And I think only like there's like 6 of us that did it, and only like 4 of us finished, which is not that big a deal. 2 people didn't finish. But anyways, it was like the last like 3 miles, and I had this GPS watch that told me like how fast I was running. And I remember I was like, he's like, all right, come on, you're almost there. Let's pump it out. Let's pump it out. And I was like, all right, let's go. And like, so like I was like, oh man, I'm going so fast. I'm like digging in. I was like giving it everything. I look down my watch. I'm running like a 16-minute mile. Like I'm basically walking.
Yeah.
And I thought I was pushing so hard. And it was like, I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
like, this
nuts,
is really,
dude.
yeah, this is what's going on in my life. But yeah, after I finished it, it was like, okay, now I can talk about that later on. And I always
Right.
find myself like doing that. It's like, why did I do a lot of this stuff? And I was like, I think most of it was just to tell
Like
a
David Goggins
story.
says, he had that cookie in your cookie jar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great example.
Yeah.
Like I was like just stories, like stuff I can like, and I know I have tons of stories I'd probably talk about things like, I don't know, just lived a kind of life at a sprint. It seems but it's been fun though, man. But for sure, so far in this life, hopefully we got 50 more years before we pack it in or something. But
Right.
yeah, well, I mean, how long have we been going for? It feels like we've
Dude,
gone
a minute, yeah, because it's 3
2 hours 15.
Yeah, it's 3:13 right now. I got to get my kids from school in like 15 minutes, so it's
All right.
perfect time to wrap it up. But
Sure thing.
you want to give any shout outs to anybody? You know,
Sure. I'll give a shout out to
you better shout out to your wife.
oh yeah, shout out to my wife, Danielle, my lovely wife. She is super sweet, super nice and kind all the time. Thank you for letting me come out here and hang out for a little bit. Give a shout out to Gavlin Bland. Appreciate you, man. I don't think I would be here without you
GB.
talking. So talking to, and I'm not very good at these shout outs. I'm not used to them.
Hey man, shout out to your daughter.
Shout out to my
She
daughter.
gonna see this one day.
Yeah,
you
shout
know?
out to my daughter, my lovely daughter. I love you, babe. I know you're gonna be something someday. You're kind of crazy right now, having fun, but I love you all the same. You know. Shout out to my little brother. Shout out to
Your business.
everything.
So you sell these?
yeah. So if you guys want to buy one of these, you can go to cleanammocans.com. That's cleanammocans.com.
This thing's sick. I can smell the oil coming.
Yeah.
The oil on it.
I put a little bit of sheen on that for you.
Yeah.
So that's actually laser engraved. And
So do I have to keep it like lubricated or something, or
Nope.
will it won't dry out? Okay.
Now, this
won't
one-
rust or anything.
So this should be good for a long, long time. I mean, I put a little bit of oil on it, and so most of the time I don't engrave all the way down to the metal on these. It's usually just just to paint deep. So if it's like going up on a mantle, you don't
Right.
have to worry about it rusting or anything like that. But I personally like the way these look, and also like the way that they're presented. So yeah, but
That's awesome. So you said, what's the name of your business?
cleanammocans.com is where you can get these.
Cleanammocans.com.
Yep, CAC. So if you just type in ammo cans on Google, it's #1 that pops up on Google.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So
you big boss dog.
well, so we do these. We do stripper clips, bandoliers, pretty much anything you need to repackage your ammunition to military standards. So, but these have been a great success, especially over Christmas. People like them. They're excellent gift for that husband that doesn't know, like, you just don't know what to get dad. You're like,
Right.
what do I get to get dad? Like, I mean, he can buy everything he wants. He already has everything he wants. You know, everything
Right.
he wants already is more expensive that I can't afford. I mean, $50, you're going to have something that it's going to have his name on it. It's going to be on his mantle for the rest of his life.
It's tight.
And, you know, it's just one of those real heartfelt gifts.
Because
that-
I got some ammo. It's just sitting in the boxes.
Oh,
so
man,
it's
put it in
cool
here.
to throw it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, put it in here. If you have some of those like silicate, I sell desiccant packets on the website. There's some you pick up there, but you know, there's
What's that?
desiccant packets are clay. So it's basically a clay that's a moisture absorber. So you take one of those, you put it in here, shut it, because this is waterproof and airtight. So any moisture that was inside the can or anything moisture that was inside like the cardboard boxes, that desiccant pack will suck that up and hold it in the desiccant and take it away from your ammo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize like there is a proper way to store your ammo. If you just leave your ammo out in like say
In your closet?
in your like your closet or in your garage or somewhere hot, you're actually the ammo is breaking down and it loses its potency and its effectiveness. So
Wow.
ammunition stored properly, you will start losing potency, but I think it's like 30 years from what I understand if you store it properly, like in an ammo can
Right.
or some airtight container, and then you probably still could use it indefinitely. It just won't be as good as it would have been. So
Right.
from its first made, but
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
I would talk about that for like ever. I'm a huge,
Awesome.
I love shooting and stuff like that too. So
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know a lot of y'all probably aren't subscribed, but I'm just going to say one thing. You know, I'm asking you to subscribe, and what would Jesus do? Okay, so hit that subscribe button. Share this video. Hit the notification bell so when I upload, you know, you'll get a notification. And I don't upload every day, so your phone's not going to be ringing off the hook. Shout out to my sponsor, Victory Spinal Care in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. If you want to improve your health, go check them out. Get a consultation. It's like $25 or something for a consultation.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap, something like that, and your health insurance might even cover it. So give them a ring, and fighting in a few days. So what day is that? The 21st, Jackson, Tennessee. Get your tickets online, check it out, and deuces.